box office, number one by far and away was Willy Wonka. Wonka made $39 million locally or domestically, I should say. Haven't spoken to anybody who saw it yet, but it's apparently getting pretty good feedback.
The reviews are pretty good.
Yeah. Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was second, followed by The Boy and the Heron, Godzilla -1, Trolls Band Together, Wish, Christmas with the Chosen, Holy Night, Napoleon, Renaissance was number 9, and the 10th on the list was Poor Things. So that was the take at the box office. So on Friday, I'm sure you guys saw this, the LA County Medical Examiner's Office released an autopsy report stating that Matthew Perry's cause of death. Of course, he died due to the acute effects of ketamine, according to that report. He had passed away unexpectedly. He was 54 on October 28th, found unresponsive in a hot tub in his LA home. The medical examiner's office shared that the level of ketamine found in his blood was equivalent to the amount typically used for general anesthesia.
Is this something he was administering himself?
It was a treatment regimen that he was on, from what I understand, and I guess so, Kathy. I guess this is one of those where you can take it as a prescribed medication at home on your own.
To help you handle your addiction. I'd not heard of ketamine applied this way.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's not like he was going to a methadone clinic where you go and they
take your methadone home with you.
So I don't know all the details really.
So I feel like I remember Neil. Oh, geez,
deGrasse Tyson.
Definitely not him. Neil Brennan. Okay. I thought because he had been going, he suffered from severe depression, and I believe one of the treatments he used was a ketamine treatment.
And I think this was from what I read, I thought this was part of that treatment, not necessarily just for opioids, but there was some kind of mental condition treatment that this might have been a part of. That's what I thought I read. I read it there. I read a few different things, so I don't know what all's legit.
I was not familiar with it. All is my understanding is that they knew he had it and he was using it supposedly for treatment, and he had, and as you said, an excessive amount akin to being
okay, so it
sedated.
It looks like, which is what I was thinking. It looks like it's an injection, which means that at least I think that could easily, then you could, administer more. And I'm looking at an article at the Mayo Clinic, and it says at first it was something that could only be done by a medical doctor. And then there's reports after that saying, at-home ketamine treatment and all of that. So I guess people were able to administer it themselves.
And it's like, you've seen this before where people get too medicated and fall asleep essentially in the bathtub, in the hot tub, and gone. You drown.
Man.
And that's what happened, man. Whew, that's terrible. The report added that drowning, coronary artery disease, and the effects of buprenorphine also played a role in his death. So, a lot going on.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah. He just struggled. He struggled with a lot of stuff. It's too bad. Some other stories to get to. According to a report by TMZ, the LA Police Department is investigating Michael B. Jordan's December 3rd car crash, during which his blue Ferrari slammed into a parked car in Hollywood. Video of the crash has since gone viral. I've not seen the actual crash. Have you?
No, I've seen the damage of the car, though. It looked pretty substantial.
The actor has yet to comment.
Here's audio of the crash, Preston.
Oh. Wow.
Clear as a bell.
Really good microphones.
Why would you mic yourself up like that? I don't know. But listen again. You can hear it.
And from that alone, it seems as if he knew he was going to hit something.
He's clear. Listen, Kathy, you can hear. Listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy how mic'd up it was.
I mean, clear.
Yeah.
Don't you hear the fear in there?
Listen. You can hear it.
All right. Nick pulled up the video. Did they actually show the accident happening, Nick?
Yeah. If you listen,
he's racing.
If you listen really carefully, Preston, you can hear it.
Listen.
Yeah. Wow. No, it's him, and it's a blue Ferrari, and it looks like a red Ferrari next to him.
Wait.
And they look like they maybe are racing. Or no, is that a Corvette?
The extended audio.
I think it's a Vette.
Oh, no! There's an explosion? I think the car that they hit was like a PT Cruiser.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Look
no.
at it.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
By the way, he's a lousy driver.
Horrible.
Yeah.
All you have to do is go straight.
That's he veers to the left and then quickly back to the right, and then he hits the car. Wow. Okay. Well, unfortunately, the police have some forensic audio that they can
work with.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny are no longer an item.
That's it?
I know. The pair were first linked in February of this year and were last seen together the morning after a Halloween party at Chateau Marmont.
I was reading a friend said that it was kind of a mistaken identity thing. She thought she'd been dating Bugs Bunny.
No.
Yeah, and
Well, the initials are the same.
right,
maybe,
and she was confused.
Around the same time, the Dakiti singer and Sofia Vergara appeared to flirt on social media. The Modern Family actor had shared a clip of Bad Bunny's video for his song Monaco to Instagram, and translated lyrics on the track read, "Sofia Vergara is beautiful, but she is more beautiful in person." And she wrote in the caption, "Más lindo eres tú, Bad Bunny."
Eres tú. Eres tú.
Which translates are cute.
I like your boobies.
Más lindo eres tú.
Such a beautiful language.
It is beautiful language.
It's beautiful.
So anyhow, they're done. That
Over. Done.
That was a quickie, according to reports, by the way. We were just talking about this the other day. I think it was because it was her birthday or something. But Mayim Bialik announced on Friday she is out as the host of Jeopardy.
Oh, my mom is so happy then.
I think a lot of people
She
are happy.
can't stand her, man.
You know what? I like her. She's just not that great of a host on the show, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Rocks it.
Ken's great.
And there
And
is
if
a
they-
certain symmetry to having the greatest player of all time host Jeopardy.
Yeah. And if they had to choose one, he's doing a better job.
They could have had them fight in a ring. You know,
Okay.
that would have been interesting.
I would have seen that.
Yeah.
Yep. So she wrote, "I have some Jeopardy news. Sony's informed me that I will no longer be hosting the syndicated version of Jeopardy." She did not elaborate on what led up to her departure. She said that she was honored to have received an Emmy nomination this year for Outstanding Host of a Game Show, and said that she was deeply grateful for the opportunity to have been a part of the Jeopardy family.
You know, it's kind of cool when they cut to the audience and they cut to the line of people who are verifying answers and all their fact checkers.
Yeah.
There's a whole line of people sitting in front of monitors.
There needs to be,
Yeah.
because you can't get that wrong, because it throws the whole game off completely. So, Jeopardy said in a statement, "We made the decision to have one host for the syndicated show next season to maintain continuity for our viewers, and Ken Jennings will be the sole host for syndicated Jeopardy. We are truly grateful for all of Mayim's contributions to Jeopardy, and we hope to continue to work with her on primetime specials." Now, they've mentioned syndicated Jeopardy several times in this article.
That's Jeopardy in general.
Yeah, but maybe there are other Jeopardies that we're not familiar
there's
with?
Primetime Jeopardy, right? So that's the one that Mayim Bialik used to host, and now Ken Jennings has been hosting that as well.
So that's separate than syndicated Jeopardy?
Yeah. So in some, obviously in some, I was going to say in some countries, in some states, Jeopardy will run at 6:30. It may not run here. Runs at 7. You know, so syndicated.
Okay.
She's going to do though. She might do a Blossom game show, which might be kind of interesting.
Just about the show Blossom?
Yeah.
Okay.
The answer's 6.
Kathy would kill it.
Yeah, it would.
She'd know all that stuff. A couple who appeared on the hit Bravo reality show Below Deck are accused of scheming to obtain bogus opioid prescriptions using the names of other cast members, according to prosecutors. Yeah.
Hope that ends up on the show.
Dr. Francis Martinez, a 55-year-old urologist, and his wife Jessica Martinez, 38 years old, were indicted on charges of criminal sale of a prescription for a controlled substance and falsifying business records.
Wow.
Martinez, who starred on episodes of Below Deck Mediterranean and Below Deck Sailing Yacht with his wife, allegedly electronically transmitted a number of oxycodone prescriptions to pharmacies across Long Island under the names of other Below Deck stars, which Jessica would then pick up and pay for with cash.
Did your wife fall down that hole, the Below Deck shows?
No, actually, I did more
You
than,
did?
more
Oh,
than
did you
she
really?
did. Yeah.
Because of the
I liked
women?
it. No, actually, because of the exotic locations and the food, and it wasn't necessarily. The girls who work on the boat are pretty attractive. Yeah, definitely. But it's just a cool idea to be able to fantasize of going on one of those luxury trips.
Robin Leachian, in a way?
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
I interviewed one of the captains. I forget her name, but she was really interesting, and it kind of like piqued my interest into the show. I only watched like a couple of episodes, and then wasn't Justin Guarini on?
Yes, he was. He was on a couple of episodes. We talked to him after he was on, and he said it was a lot of fun. I mean, they pay for you to basically go
on
to
vacation.
paradise.
Yeah, they first raised red flags in January when Jessica's attempt to fill a bogus prescription handwritten by her husband caused a suspicious pharmacist to call the police. None of the oxycodone prescriptions were actually intended for the people named in the prescriptions. After her arrest, Jessica told police, "We didn't sell any prescriptions. It was all just for us. There was no diversion."
We're the addicts.
So the couple are due back in court on January 25th.
We were buying all that heroin for us.
We are the addicts.
And we didn't realize it was breaking the law.
Sharon Osbourne is full of regrets when it comes to her last facelift. She's now 71 years old and opened up about the October 2021 surgery, which left her with one eye lower than the other.
Oh, no.
During an interview with The Times, and she said, "That was the worst thing I ever did. I looked like Cyclops. I had She said, "I had one eye here and one eye there. My mouth was all skewiff. And then I had to wait for that to heal before I could go back and have it corrected."
I said, once I go to find the pirate ship.
The procedure was Osborne's third facelift, having also gone under the knife in 1987 and 2002.
You know what, Sharon, you're my best friend.
As for why she underwent the surgery again.
You're going to live with me now.
You can live with me now, Sharon, and I'll treat you just like a pet. I will tie you up on a line, and you can run back and forth in pain to do it.
No, here's why she underwent the surgery again. She said, vanity, ego. "Oh, you look great for your age," she added, despite how she looks now. "I know what I really look like. When I look in the mirror, I see the real me." In an interview with The Sun earlier this year, the television personality declared that she was done with plastic surgery following the procedure. She said, "That one put me off and it frightens me. I really effing pushed it with the last facelift and now like no more," she also noted.
Oh, yeah, right. She's going to continue to get it fixed then.
She said, "Time is against me. I cannot have another facelift."
You got to be reasonable.
Well,
you got to be honest with yourself and say enough is enough.
I hope that she is true to her word because
she's not.
But that's what happens. It's like then something like this goes, and they have to fix it. So then they go back in, and then they end up looking like
Doc,
a lion.
I'd like a detachable nose.
3 facelifts are not the only cosmetic surgeries she had. Per the time, she also had breast implants, tummy tuck, and lifts to her legs and arms, along with Botox and fillers.
I do love her, though, because she's like, no, I had liposuction.
Yeah, she lays it all out.
She lays it all out.
She should do that thing where they inject the oil into your biceps too, Preston.
Well, she did Wegovy or Ozempic.
She
or
did
whatever.
Ozempic,
So
yeah.
that's
She
what
was
I'm
like-
about to say. So she said during the interview, she commented on dropping the pounds since she started using Ozempic. She said everybody was on it, and I thought, well, I'll have a bit of that. And so this is the outcome. She said, "It's been a year in December since I started to diet. I've lost 42 pounds.
Wow.
And I can't seem to put the weight back on," which is a luxury, but also it's like, be careful what you wish for. She said that she now fluctuates between 98 and 100 pounds.
You know what the problem is, though? Is that she also said that she has a little bit of Ozempic face.
Well, she said she basically was like, "Oops, I took it a little too far."
Right,
like
yeah.
she knows that she lost too much weight.
Yeah, her family is concerned. Like
It's okay, I'll take care of you. You'll be my best friend.
they want her to put some.
That's right. And we'll go on wonderful adventures under the ground and find a pirate ship.
How
And
tall?
then they'll cut out that scene about the octopus, so it'll make no sense at the end of it.
Right? They're going to reference the octopus
But
at the end.
no one's going to know what's going on, right, Casey? Because you didn't see it.
Yeah. How tall is she, by the way? I mean, is she like one of those 4'11", 5-footers?
She's short, yeah.
Because 98, 100 pounds, that's
5'2",
really,
it says.
wow. Okay. That's way too thin.
Yeah, that's too
yes.
thin.
Yeah,
needs to put some-
she said it.
Yeah.
She said she lost too much weight.
I like the way the one eye rolls around and she's got that crop of hair on the top of her head. And she wears her suspenders and her T-shirt. It's very
She
funny.
needs to put some weight back on, yes. All right.
Here comes the Fratellis.
Jason Momoa is getting candid about the future of Aquaman and the franchise. He speculated that his time playing Arthur Curry is likely coming to a close. He said, "I don't necessarily want it to be the end, but I don't think it's really like a choice. Adding that DC Studios co-heads James Gunn and Peter Safran want to start their new thing up. A third Aquaman film was not among the many DCU titles that Gunn and Safran unveiled during their slate announcement back in January. That doesn't mean, however, that Momoa has lost all hope of picking up his trident for a third time in the future. But he said the truth of it is, I mean, if the audience loves it, then there's a possibility. But right now, it's not really looking too good.
So he's been in a couple movies as Aquaman. He really wants to play the character Lobo. Are you familiar with Lobo from the comic books? Yeah.
Yeah. He's a weird character.
That's his main. He's always loved that character.
Really?
Yep, Lobo.
Interesting. Okay. He said, I love this character and I would want to play for a long time. Momoa said, I kind of see where I would want it to go. And even in the next 10 years or so, like there's a lot of cool things that they can do. And I do enjoy the role and the world. So, I mean, it just comes down to if people love it or not. Gunn had stated that movies that are not part of his and Safran's new cohesive version of the comic book universe, like Matt Reeves' forthcoming Batman sequel, would be considered Elseworlds entries, which may offer another chance for future Aquaman installments, too. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that.
We're talking to Zack Snyder tomorrow, but there has been word that Netflix might be interested in finishing out the Snyderverse.
Oh,
we saw that dystopian scene at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so we'll see.
That I've gone back and watched that several times. I'm really intrigued by.
Tell me that
ending up there somehow or another. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
Yeah. John Hamm is ready to break bad. Apple TV Plus on Friday announced a series order for Your Friends and Neighbors, a new crime drama that will mark the Emmy winner's first anchor role in an ongoing series since Mad Men had ended in 2015. He's going to play a character called Coop, a recently divorced hedge fund manager who, after being fired, resorts to stealing from the wealthy residents in his Tony upstate New York suburb in order to keep his family's lifestyle afloat, according to the official log line. These petty crimes begin to reinvigorate him until he breaks into the wrong house at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm. How does it end?
He will executive produce. I'm not going to give that away. Hamm recently wrapped season 3 of The Morning Show. He can currently be seen playing small-town Sheriff Roy Tillman in season 5 of Fargo, and is the star of EP and Fox's forthcoming animated comedy Grimsburg, which has already been picked up for season 2.
How did I just see him show up in? He just, it was kind of like out of the blue.
Like a cameo thing or something?
It wasn't even a cameo.
That commercial for Fargo where he's sitting in the hot tub?
No.
Because he's in
I'm going to look at his, because I know I was watching a show the other day and then he showed up out of nowhere. I was like,
Is it a current show?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so.
He will do that. He'll do that now and then.
On Fargo, Casey, he's just sitting in this hot tub and people come up to talk to him and he has nipple rings. Which I was like, oh my God, John Hamm.
He explained the prosthetic nipple rings. Yeah,
yeah, they were fake. Nipples over his nipples with rings in them. Yeah.
Casey, there's a show that has.
Oh, it's Good Omens. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, my daughter started watching Good Omens the other day, and so I was there watching first couple episodes, and he plays Gabriel.
All right.
Okay. Then one last story before we move on to the clips. On Friday, Neon Films released the full trailer for the highly anticipated new film by Ava DuVernay called Origin. She shared the trailer to Instagram and wrote in the caption, "My heart beats inside of this film. I don't know much else to write here except that Origin is offering from me to you. It's a cry, a shout, a fist, a deep breath, a hand to hold. I hope it reaches you somehow.
Will they be serving popcorn during those screenings?
In the ways that matter," she said. And love A. So I don't know. The hell are you asking me for?
Seems that's what can get me in the theater.
Okay, it's true.
Yeah, it seems a little vague. The other stuff,
smart, maybe.
But popcorn, it's something I can lock onto.
All right, let's do the clips.
All right.
Yeah. Fans may know Marisol Nichols as Aubrey in Vegas Vacation.
Yes.
Special Agent Nadia Yassir in 24, or Veronica's mom in Riverdale. But her real passion is Christmas movies. And here Marisol talks about starring in Hallmark movies.
It's a different genre for me, and I've always wanted to play that. I've always wanted to do sort of the romantic comedy role, and I always got cast in these sort of dark, hard-hitting, tough female roles, and so it's really nice to play something light and fun and joyful. It's more actually in line with who I am every day.
Holly and Ivy, Christmas CEO, and we wish you a married Christmas, are all streaming now on Hallmark TV, and she's in every one of those.
I watched about 8 of them over the weekend.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was 8. It could have been 1.
That's right.
Yeah.
It did. I'll be, I don't watch those, but I'll come in and Rochelle is watching them, and I will glance at the clock. And I'll see if it's getting close to the top of the hour. Then I know it's coming to close. And then it'll be like a minute or two before the top of the hour. And they don't kiss. And I'm like, oh, it's one of those 2-hour ones.
Right. They had a good one. And that somehow eluded me. It was called Christmas at the Biltmore.
Okay.
And the guy who is the guy in Wonder Woman 1984, the guy who's actually the body that Wonder Woman is banging, at the end you see him in his real, you know what I'm talking about?
I gave that movie one view and then erased it from my memory.
Anyway, he's sort of like a Hallmark staple. He's good.
Okay.
But it was sort of like a somewhere in time travel thing. It was kind of nice. It was well done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Does it take place at the Biltmore House in North Carolina? I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the biggest house in America. All right. Next clip, here we go. Action movies and newborns don't usually mix, and that's why 2 sets of twins, 4 babies total, were cast for The Family Plan. In this clip, Mark Wahlberg describes his first days on the set.
The only difficult scene was the first scene where I'm doing the fight in the supermarket with the baby Bjorn, because we wanted it to feel like there was a baby there and not a doll. We were able to get through that 3 long days, and then after that, when the professionals came in, they were able to help us bond with the children.
Yeah! Anybody see that?
No.
Oh, yeah, because it debuted over the weekend. It was supposed to hit a lot of watches.
The Family Plan is streaming now on Apple TV, if you would like to see that. Apple Plus, there you go. And that's what I have in the entertainment report for you this morning. No. I would like to do this right now. Casey, give me the proper audio together for this, because it is time for a Christmas Miracle giveaway.
It's a Christmas miracle!
Yeah. So we only have 4 of these left to give away. The Christmas Miracle is on Wednesday. I'm going to do 2 today and 2 tomorrow. So this is one of those 2 right now. We'll take caller number 20 at 215-263-WMMR. You need to be in Phoenixville early on Wednesday morning at the Colonial Theater. And we're going to play some of our contests live on the air and a chance for you to win some fantastic prize packs from our favorite people, our sponsors of the Preston and Steve Show and WMMR. And of course, if you wear a Miller Lite Ugly Sweater, you'll be in the running for a year of beer.
Yes.
Miller Lite is the Ugly Sweater edition. So we have all kinds of prize drawings and stuff going on, and we would love for you to be there. You can go to WMMR.com for another chance to win. But we would like to take caller number 20 and let you come and join us on Wednesday morning. So get on it now. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a moment. Curtis Armstrong, Booger, Revenge of the Nerds and more will be joining us in about an hour or so. And also Nimesh Patel on the program. So stay with us on this Monday morning. We'll be right back.
After just losing my mom, I lost my mom during the movie.
Yeah.
And so it's remarkable. It gives me a lot of comfort. I'm getting old, losing a lot of people.
There's a very powerful scene. I won't go into it, but it apparently happened right after your mom had passed, and it seemed as if, in a way, you were channeling that emotion in this scene. It's particularly it's in the church, and you're why I'm doing all these things that you want of me, speaking to God, and how am I here? Yeah. And it seemed like, I mean, we've always compliment you're a great actor, and in that moment though, so visceral. And, everyone's tearing up at that, because you do have those moments like, wait a second, I thought I was doing everything right.
Yeah.
But that's not what it's about.
Yeah, no. When everything's going good, life throws you a curveball. And God is definitely at work here. It's amazing to see how people are being touched by this movie. It's coming out now at Easter during the pandemic, where everybody's been struggling.
Right.
So people from all walks of life really feel like they identify and relate to Stu in their own personal way.
Yeah, and I can as well. And so my father was a deacon. My father passed away 8 years ago, and and he wasn't born Catholic, and he didn't convert until he met my mother, and all that stuff. And so you talk about finding the grace of God through pain and suffering, and so they had lost their first born child, and you figure something like that could. And I talked to my dad about it. They could have been like peace out, thank you, but every single time I see you, I'm reminded of our son, but it actually it drew them closer to God, which is this crazy thing that happens, and it happened to fathers too. And so you're in Philadelphia, and you're doing a press tour in Philadelphia, and I wasn't sure if you were aware of Father Bill Atkinson. So his story is very, very reminiscent of what happened with Father Stu. So Father Atkinson wrote this book called Green Bananas, and Father Atkinson was a teacher at Monsignor Bonner High School, and he was a paraplegic. He was in a terrible sledding accident, and so he writes this book called Green Bananas, and essentially it's don't buy green bananas because you're not promised tomorrow, right? So you may not even be here to enjoy that yellow banana. And so this guy, I'm sure as you go through the city today, I'm sure maybe this will come up more than one time.
There's something, and to that point, so there are two uncles in my life. My wife's uncles were both priests, 50 years plus. They've since passed away, to Father Jim and Father Charlie, and Father Stu reminded me there's a similar sort of thing. There's an I don't know what it is, and maybe it's if grace is brought into your life, and you're there's a way they carry themselves, and you say, oh, these. They don't know what they're talking about. It's easy a lot of times to dismiss. You can't possibly connect to my situation. But I remember years ago sitting down with both of them at various points. I'm like, man, they got it. They got it, and they were able to speak comfort to me at a time when I really needed it. And you project. There's a couple of scenes in the movie where you're dispensing the solace to people in trouble, and they look at you, and you're in this vegetative state, Father Stu, I should say. And you always get that, well, if he can, then maybe I can. And if this helped him, maybe it can help me. It's such a powerful message.
Yeah, and it's important. I mean, people are really struggling right now. But having that real life experience is invaluable. When you were talking about that particular scene, I've never studied acting, but I have a lot of real life experience, the good, the bad, and I kind of utilize all of that in portraying these characters that I play and try to do it in the most authentic way. And so going through that particular moment at that particular time, but still, Stu and the way he handled it helped me, and it will continue to help me. And I just am much more optimistic about the future and accepting things that you can't change. And
learning that is a big lesson. Yeah.
Who did you meet from the real story? I know Father Stu has passed, but anybody from his family?
Oh yeah, his dad, his siblings, his family, his best friends from the seminary, his childhood friends. He's got he's a colorful guy. Lots of really interesting friends.
Yeah. Well, I knew you were coming in, so when watching the film, I kind of wanted to look at the practical parts of movie making as well as taking the story in. And one of the things that I love, Mark, is, and I'm curious about you as an actor, when you're on the set and you're giving your lines and so on, it's not the same as what we see once it's edited and put together. The music in this film, the way they really added a body to it, I thought. Yeah. And when you watch the completed film, does that start to impact you more with those added pieces of the puzzle? You know what I mean? Than when you were there delivering those lines.
Yeah, of course. I mean, well, I'll give you a great example. I was making a movie called Fighter, and I wanted to watch every great boxing movie ever made leading up until the start of the film. I happened to be on a plane flying to Boston. I had Rocky on. Yeah. Watching Rocky, all of a sudden, and every time I watch Rocky, you know what it does to you. All of a sudden, I turned off the volume, and because I was on a call, and I'm still watching, and the movie just completely didn't work. Yeah. Without the sound and all of the music and the score. And so, yeah, of course. And Rosie had done a great job. I mean, I knew when I was reading the script, because all this, the scenes described the music that would be playing and the artist that she wanted to use. I was like, oh, this is going to be really expensive.
This is Rosalind Ross.
Rosalind Ross, yeah.
First-time director.
First-time writer.
Wrote the script. And you took a chance. Yeah. But I think you had a good, I was reading an interview with you, and you said, she wrote the words. She knew what she was seeing. What better person to translate that? Yeah, I've definitely felt like that, because we were trying to make this movie for a while. David O. Russell and I were trying to get somebody to write the script, and I couldn't crack it, And then when she came and said she wanted to
try it. I said, go ahead. And I kind of told her the story, connected her to the people. And then all of a sudden, she comes back to me with a movie that I wanted to make. So I said, if she could put it on the page, she could put it on the screen.
That's wild.
Had you worked with Jackie Weaver before?
No, I hadn't. No,
she plays the mom in Silver Linings Playbook, which is obviously set here in Philly as well. And I love her. She's so compelling, and there's something about her eyes whenever you watch. Like, she just emotes so well.
She's fantastic. And I lost my mom during the making of the movie, and to kind of rely on her, she was definitely there for me in lots of ways. And if I ever needed to get emotional or anything like that, like there's a scene where I'm coming into the church and I realized that they're actually going to ordain me, and I just looked to her, and then of course I just got super emotional.
So your father in this film is Mel Gibson, and so I noticed that your relationship with him in this movie is very, very similar to Daddy's Home 2, where he plays your father in that movie as well.
Oh my God! Yeah, he was going to play my brother, but Mel obviously was Bill Long, Stu's dad, his first choice, second choice, and third choice. I've made a lot of movies about real people and especially sensitive subjects, and I've never had somebody deal with it in such a nonchalant way, the way that Bill has. I mean, he really gets a kick out of it. He doesn't really. He knows that I'm playing Stu, but he's able to kind of detach himself from that. And so, like, when he sees Mel, he just starts giggling all the time.
Well, he made The Passion of the Christ and directed, and I assume you were able to pull on his. Expertise, because this was a smaller film than some of the other films you've made.
And of course, taking on the responsibility of financing the movie myself. He financed The Passion. He kind of did it all. So that was something I was able to take a play from his book and kind of figure out the best way to get the movie made without any kind of creative interference. Because once you bring on a financier or a studio, then everybody's got notes. I mean, they're paid to have an opinion, right? And then you kind of get into the rabbit hole. We didn't want to make a film by committee. We wanted to kind of do our own thing and then find the right partner to distribute it.
Sure. You're just tuning in. It's Mark Wahlberg is joining us in studio. Father Stu is going to be out in theaters April 13th. You guys shot this in 30 days?
30 days, yeah.
Wow.
It's like 6 years to get it done in 30 days.
It's always, yeah. You're basically in quicksand for all this time, and then all of a sudden you have to sprint to the finish line. And then it was the same thing with, we had a lot of time to edit the film, but then we had a short amount of time to release the film. So,
I'm not surprised that you were able to get it done so quickly because you work hard. And there was a nice documentary that was done about your life, and you just know that like you're just the dude who is just working from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. I also know that you take your health and your physical fitness very, very seriously. You don't do it because you have to. You do it because you want to and you love it. So, gaining 30 pounds in 6 weeks. Was that fun or did that suck?
Worst experience of my life. I'm still feeling the repercussions of that. It's just because it's just at my age, it's not that healthy to do.
It's a freaking nightmare.
I tried to do it in the most healthy way possible. So when people think, "Oh God, you got to gain 30 pounds," oh poor you. Like it's not like all the things you crave are on the menu. None of those things were things that I got to eat. I didn't.
The fun stuff.
I was. A dozen eggs with a dozen pieces of bacon, 2-3 bowls of white rice, drinking olive oil out of a glass, and then I'd have a steak. And then, right after that meal, 2 hours later, you get a knock on the door and you got to eat again. And you got to pound another meal. So from 7,000 calories a day for the first 2 weeks to then 11,000 calories for the last 4 weeks. It was terrible. And it was all like sodiums, starches, stuff to get you bloated.
Not healthy at all.
I can't believe you guys do that. Like, because we have a friend, Rob McElhenney, did it for a role too.
It's always sunny.
He did it for a laugh.
He did it for a laugh. But
and he said what Mark just said. It was a nightmare packing on that weight.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to lose it because then you're just. You got to be disciplined, right? You got to be able to say no, but to pack it in when you're already stuffed. That's just the worst.
Do you know the book or the movie called Diary of a City Priest? It's based on a guy named Father John McNamee, and it was set here in Philadelphia as well. It's sort of like what Casey was bringing up. And the movie was starring David Morse. And when watching Father Stu, it sort of reminded me of these people that find ways to do good for people who really need it, who need to find some salvation and don't know where else to turn. So if you like doing this role with Father Stu, I highly recommend Diary of a City Priest.
Yeah, I definitely check that out. I'm a big fan of Dave Morris too. But it's one of those things where Stu, like, he was so effective, especially like in his prison ministry. When he would go and talk to the inmates, because he was one of those guys.
Yeah.
So he could just tell them how it was. And we all know people who have made bad decisions, and if they feel like nobody cares, then what are they going to live for? You know, we have to remind people that we're not going to give up on them. Nobody's beyond redemption. You see the good in people, and accepting people for who they are. So
it's so important. Yeah, that's what Christmas Carol is my favorite book of all time because of that. You have someone who is, well, everyone's deemed beyond help. This guy's gone, and he does have redemption. And sometimes you just need someone to extend a hand and say, okay, we're going to work on this. And that's what this whole movie is about. I love that he has almost a false, not a completely false start, Father Stu, to his embracing of becoming a priest. But it all becomes clear, as I said before, when he has another step in it, this disease that he gets that really, what does it really come down to? And it seems to me that you in your life have gone through, you've hit that point where you are all in now. Was that a hard process, or did you have a kind of a switch flick moment as Father Stu had?
No, I mean, I've always been, ever since a young age when I started refocusing on my faith, good things started happening for me. I'm a guy who's super disciplined and routine, and I've got a lot of gratitude. I'm like, okay, if this is working, I'm sticking with this. I'm not going to veer off of the plan at all. And then I realized, of course, all these things are happening for a reason. I'm being put in this position for a reason. The story's coming to me for a reason. And so to be able to then focus on doing the greater good and figuring out what my purpose is and how I utilize all the talents that I have and the position that I'm in to do something great and help people and inspire people to do more. And that's why I'm hearing now all these great stories. I can imagine if this movie works, I really want to focus on doing a lot more faith-based content, things that'll bring people together. Hopefully people will come to me with great stories. Young filmmakers will come with their ideas, and I'll be able to help them make their movies and get these kind of projects out there.
It helps people.
And then also doing more things just behind the scenes without going and talking about it, because, the left hand's not supposed to know what the right hand's doing. We're supposed to be doing things out of the goodness of our heart, not for a pat on the back. But it's also, it's important to have the conversation, especially in this day and age when there's so much focus and emphasis on negativity and people.
93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Kath. So Steve sent me an article. A woman took to TikTok and told her viewers about some Christmas superstitions. And I didn't know that there were Christmas superstitions.
Neither did I.
And apparently some people believe that things that you either do or don't do on and around Christmas will have dire consequences.
Okay, I need to hear these because at first I want to be like, this is ridiculous, but I might do them. So all right, I can't say that yet.
And if anybody wants to share any superstitions you and your family may have, feel free to call us, 215-263-WMMR. So her name is Tatiana. And she said, number one, leaving a Christmas tree without any type of ornaments or decorations will attract evil spirits and negative energy.
Oh, come on. Well, why would you put a tree up and not put decorations on it?
That's right. You're inviting the evil spirits into your house.
I was impressed. It's not superstition, but I'm like, oh, we didn't bake Christmas cookies yet. I have to run out and get the ingredients today because we haven't done that and time's running out.
Any excuse for you to get in the kitchen.
So I don't know if it's a superstition so much so that it's a tradition that we need to do.
Tradition.
Some of these are actually, though, there's some sort of pleasant things.
Yeah.
That are things that you do that are, for example,
pleasant.
the elf on the shelf.
I love the elf on the shelf.
That is a tradition, right?
There was a video that ran that a friend sent me. And it's about Elf on the Shelf, and it's telling new parents, don't do it.
Don't do it.
No, I completely disagree. I love it. I think it's so much fun. I understand that it's just an added thing around the holiday season, but I love it. I love the damn elf.
You love the damn elf?
Love Buzz.
Then do the damn elf.
Our elf is Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear?
Yes. Because when the elf came, Jace was little, and that was what he named our elf.
That's
Buzz
his
Lightyear.
name. I think you were just using a little Buzz Lightyear figurine.
No, the
really
kids
that's not a real elf.
The kids
it's
can
G.I.
name
Joe, Preston.
The kids can name their elf.
Why is our elf in military fatigues?
But I will tell you, I think Preston, you and I, we probably we dodged a bullet because the way people are getting really, really creative with these elves. That didn't exist when we had our elves.
Your elves just moved around.
Our
right?
elves they just move around.
Yeah.
Our elves just made an appearance the other day. I don't think our kids even noticed. Before, when they woke up, it was like, boom, they out of the bed. Like, you could find the elves first.
Right?
Yeah.
They loved that. They got up. They were looking for the elf. Where did the elf move to?
I agree, but
That's what I
now,
loved about it.
now these elves, they're so crazy that they're doing all this crazy stuff while the kids are sleeping.
Let me ask you this. How do you explain, though, to a child when you're in Target and you go by and you see, 50 elves in a box?
Those aren't the real ones.
Those aren't the real ones?
No.
I haven't had
Those
to
are just the
explain that.
toys.
They're
the
toy
helpers.
ones that they're allowed to touch because you can't touch the real elf.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
So-
By the way, did you see the video of the kid that touched the elf?
Oh, and was hysterical.
Dude,
crying?
like, Steve, the other kids in this house were sobbing. And, like, they were fearful.
So what is the, what is, whoa,
Wait.
Oh, I don't know the legend. So what is
She
it?
just said you can't touch the elves.
So why?
It takes away his magical powers.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Casey.
Nullifies the whole thing.
I didn't realize the power of the touch.
Wait, I forgot about this. And so I'm going to put this out there. If there's any Plymouth Township or Conshohocken police officers that can help my elf with something, send me an email.
Okay.
So did you see a family moved from, they sold their old house. They moved to a new house. And the elf apparently was trying to break into the old house.
Oh, my God.
And so the police put the elf in the back of their car and drove to the house.
Wow.
And so the little girl answers the door, and the police officer's at the front door, and he's like, I got somebody in the back of my car, says they know you, they belong in this house. Can you come and identify them? The little girl walks out, the officer opens the back door, and her elf is sitting in the
That's
Get
amazing.
the bitch. But Case, you talk about elves doing crazy things. I was like, I need a police officer to
That's
help
the
me with this.
craziest thing.
So the magic goes if you touch it. If the kids touch it, because the cop had to cuff the elf.
Yeah,
No,
right?
it's if the kids touch it.
Okay, all right.
From what I understand. Hang on, let me go to Barbara. Let's talk about the elf here. Hey, Barbara, morning.
Good morning. 1 year we got the elf thing, and my daughter loved it. And then she said to me, wouldn't it be neat if next year he came back and he was married? So we had to find a female elf. So then the next year he came back and he was married. And then that year she said, wouldn't it be neat if they had babies? So then I had to find, and I found on Etsy a woman in Ireland that was making little elf babies.
Elf babies.
Yeah, so then we had twin elf babies. And then they needed
Barbara, that's when you say, wouldn't it be great if you shut up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I hated the thing. And so then it got to the point I was moving 5 things around every night.
No.
It was awful.
You weren't doing anything.
No, you weren't doing anything. They were freely working of their own
sleeping,
autonomy,
Yeah,
but
they
you
go
were
back to
overseeing
They
it.
go back to the North Pole.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, they go every
Yeah,
night.
every
And
night.
Oh, my God.
They report back to Santa. Thank you, Barbara. They report whether or not they've been naughty or nice.
So I never realized that
So they're
they were
Santa's
the
eyes.
conduit for Santa.
Yeah.
They are basically snitches.
And that's why, Steve, when
Totally, dude.
They're snitches.
I have to show you this video because, like, the kids are like, it was like Armageddon. They're like, what are we gonna do? And then when the video comes around to the living room, the one kid is, because you don't know what's going on. These kids are screaming bloody murder, and you have no clue as a viewer what's going on. And then you just see this 2-year-old holding an elf.
It's actually kind of creepy, Steve. So, like, ours is Norm.
Yeah.
And so you could say, Norm is watching.
Watching.
Okay? Watching. Constantly.
All hail-
all the time.
All hail
All hail Norm. Yeah, totally.
Steve, they do go back to the North Pole, which is why mine wears a bomber jacket and goggles.
Well, because he's
Gets
flying
chilly.
himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It gets chilly. It does.
So I think I would probably love this. Didn't have it as a kid, obviously.
Yeah,
when
no,
I
I
was a
didn't.
kid, Jesus had just died. And
So
they
you didn't
were
have
still
the
It
elf
wasn't
yet.
even a holiday.
together at that point.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All right, so let me add a couple of other superstitions or rituals that are not the standards for Christmas. So she said, this TikToker talking about the decoration. She said, going along with that, the fact that you can't have a Christmas tree without ornaments because that attracts evil spirits.
Evil spirits.
Negative energy. Going along with that, listen to this. As pretty as it looks to have your tree visible from the outside of your house, this is actually considered extremely bad luck.
Oh, no. Why?
I don't know.
Well, then you can kiss my ass because I have mine in the display window.
Yeah, so
Come
do we.
on in, evil
of
spirits.
course.
Says
Yeah.
you never want anyone from outside to be able to look into your window and see the tree that you have inside of your house.
That's the point of
It
it. That's
is-
part of the point of it.
Yeah,
But-
suck it.
It's going to cause a lot of financial problems.
Why?
No, we've done this my entire
was
life,
like, what?
and I'm doing just fine.
right.
I'll tell you
Okay.
one thing that you don't want to do is if you have your tree. your tree can be visible. You don't want to have you don't want people to be able to look in and see your presents right out on the other side of the window. So that can encourage theft. But I mean, listen, they can just take it off your porch now. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. She continued saying, number 2, holly can be used as protection against witches and dark magic.
Ooh.
It is customary for people to purchase this and bring it into their homes around Christmas time.
So I like all the Krampus stuff, and I watched that movie over the weekend. There's something in the barn about the Norwegian barn elves and the legend of all that stuff. It is pretty cool.
There's a few different superstitions around the world that are along the lines of Krampus, this evil character of some type, evil entity that has a somehow or another connection to the holiday.
And they walk sort of the fine line, Preston. Krampus, if you have to sort of be a real prick, for Krampus to come and do what he's going to do. And with the barn elf or with the elves in that tradition, if you follow their rules, they will help you with like farm chores.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3 on this, another superstition. Never, under any circumstances, should you give shoes around Christmas time. This will ensure that the person that you gift the shoes to will walk out of your life.
I'll tell you this.
These boots are made for walking.
I got shoes one time as a kid, and I wanted to walk out of their lives.
Now, listen, I've given and received like slippers and things like that, which are a pretty standard Christmas gift, and those are shoes.
Did you walk out of it?
I left right there.
Abandoned my. I'm out of here.
Spit in their face.
Daddy's
and walk
going
out.
bye-bye.
People in Greece will actually set their old shoes on fire around Christmas time because this will prevent any misfortunes within the new year.
Wow.
Set your old shoes on fire.
Huh.
Yeah. So she did a follow-up video. Those were the main ones, and then she was flooded with comments of people who were mentioning their own Christmas.
One that surprised me in the list that I'd never heard of. The thing about putting a baby blanket under the Christmas tree. Did you see that, Preston?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's that?
For fertility.
Oh, okay.
So you put a baby blanket under the tree, and you'll have a baby
the next morning.
The next morning.
Yeah.
A handyman will come in while you're asleep.
All right. So in a follow-up video, she said this is another list of Christmas superstitions. Number 1, it is said that a Christmas tree should always be burned once your time with it is done within the home.
But it has to be burned in the home, in your living room.
Those who simply just dump the tree outside are opening up their home to unruly spirits and evil creatures.
So this is a quick thing here. So since the Christmas tree in history was ported over from pagan, they needed
symbol.
something to make it attractive.
Yeah.
And so I can see that it carried some of that extra bulk with it.
From what I understand, that's a lot of the traditions were they had taken these pagan things and essentially converted them into
They met in the back room and
Christianity.
go, I got to tell you,
we got to do something.
that stuff's rocking, and they're getting a lot of converts. If we could chuck a tree into this whole thing, it'd be really good.
Yeah, that's apparently the way it worked. So here's another one. It's believed that a candle lit on Christmas Eve should be left burning all the way until Christmas Day.
At the base of your tree.
Yeah,
Well, part of the Advent wreath that we always, like on Christmas Eve, like 'cause we would light the candles, we would say a prayer. I don't remember if we blew the candles out before or after dinner, but they were blown out pretty quickly. But on Christmas Eve, those candles stayed lit.
Stayed lit all night?
Mhm.
There you go.
So-
and that's part of this, Casey.
So people used to routinely, they'd put lit candles in the tree. They would have small candles that would be decorations.
Yeah,
And they would
before
light them.
electric lights.
Yeah.
She added that the caveat to be safe with unattended candles before concluding with her final superstition, and that is, it is believed that if a woman happens to crack an egg on Christmas Eve with 2 yolks inside of it, it means that she will have twins within the next upcoming year.
That's only if they conceive or under the tree. So you have to have intercourse under the tree.
Under the tree.
Yeah.
Which there's not a lot of room under there.
With one of those shoes.
Yeah. Dozens of hopeful moms-to-be have shared old wives' tale issued by women wanting to welcome a baby. So most recently, Blanca Hernandez from Charlotte, North Carolina, documented her efforts as she explained the superstition. She sat cross-legged under the floor. She wrapped up a baby blanket in festive paper before addressing it to her future newborn and placing it under the tree. So I guess you wrap it with, Christmas paper, wrapping paper. She added overlaid text which read, "There's an old wives' tale that if you put a baby blanket under the Christmas tree, next Christmas you will have a baby with you. So was not
Now, will it be a child that you conceived or one you abducted? They don't specify.
I guess it really doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter. Got it.
Yeah. This is from the Appalachian Christmas Legends and Superstitions. Animals kneel at midnight on Christmas Eve, as they did by the manger when Christ was born. They also talk during this time. Yes.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, one night, so I got something to say. That cat litter is sucking.
Preston, so growing up, my friend's mother, strict Irish Catholic, wonderful person, but it's one of those things. She fully believed.
She bought it.
She fully believed that on that night, though the animals genuflected, not the talking, never heard the talking.
Oh, and by the way, it's bad luck to catch them speaking. So that's why nobody's ever actually caught them speaking.
What are you doing?
Just a little, yeah.
Get out of here. You want to ruin it?
Also, it says if you sit under a pine tree on Christmas Day, you can hear angels sing. But beware, if you hear them, you'll be on your way to heaven before next Christmas.
Whoa.
You're going to die.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I used to hear that this was a legend that like at midnight mass, it used to be if people who were tuned into these things could see the images of people who would die, loved ones that who are going to die walking towards the church.
Oh.
Yeah. So they would see the images of people who would die in the following year walking towards them.
My friend Chet fainted at midnight mass one time while we were all there. Rather than, some type of divine moment, I think it's because of the weed we smoked and the shots we did before we went in there.
Probably it.
I'm guessing.
You were taking your own communion.
He had actually passed out. It was the second time he had passed out in church. We called him the Antichrist actor.
That's it. He couldn't take it.
The other time was at a wedding. And after that, the midnight mass, I think it was the second one. And then, he was Satan after that, who was the Antichrist. So bread and cakes baked on Christmas Day have special healing virtues.
I like this.
Some folks preserved them for use in curing illness during the coming years.
I actually tried this over the weekend. I rubbed a pound cake on my fistula.
Okay.
And nothing.
No fistula? No, nothing? Here's a tough one for you, Steve. It's bad luck for a cat to meow on Christmas Day. If it does, evil spirits will visit every day during the coming year.
Okay,
we're
we're screwed.
I'm basically living in hell.
And then lastly, on this list of Christmas superstitions, it said a crowing cock on Christmas Eve scares away evil spirits.
So
shooting off guns and fireworks also works.
A crowing cock will,
yes.
What will it do?
It will scare away evil spirits. So get your cock to crow on Christmas Eve.
What about a dribbling?
I don't know nothing about that.
Social diseases.
Or you can just go shoot off guns and fireworks.
Yeah. Okay.
On Christmas Eve.
On Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Man, so I used to live in an area years and years ago on Long Island where I don't know what, I guess the group in that area, whatever, the ethnic composition, but man, Christmas Eve, you would have thought it was the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Shooting off fireworks?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was kind of cool.
Are you guys in the Christmas spirit yet? Because
Absolutely.
I am not.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying. I've set up the lights. The house is decorated. I feel like I need to listen to nothing but like Bing Crosby for the next week or so.
Have you done anything? Have you been charitable or kind or?
No, as a matter of fact, I've been more miserable lately than ever.
Wow, sorry to hear that.
No, we all go through those times.
No, I don't have it. No, not right now. You guys know it's not a big. Like we had Jason Isaacs on the other day, and he's not a fan of Christmas either. And I was like, not just me. Yeah. It's more. I'm ready. I'm happy when it's over.
Yeah.
And not that
nothing over.
It's not that I'm dreading it. But it's a fun day. It's an enjoyable day. But I don't take it in like weeks of this. You know what I mean?
Do you know what pep you up?
What?
Rambo on the shelf.
Rambo on the shelf.
I'm looking at you. I'm going to see if you've been naughty or nice. I'm coming for you.
It's a great idea.
Rambo on the shelf.
Casey, I'm glad you asked the question. I'm actively avoiding Christmas this year. Like, no tree, no decorations. I don't even think we're gonna do presents. It's
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm a Grinch this year, and I feel bad about this. Well, this past weekend, we decided whether or not we were talking to each other about whether or not we wanted to put up a tree, and we were just like, no. And so it's still in the basement. I mean, like, I don't know why I'm anti-Christmas this year, but I really am, and I feel bad about it.
Go with it. I mean, if it's the way you feel, and then if it comes organically and naturally, that's fine.
I think like the forced buying of presents has really gotten to me. Like the commercialism of it has started to like weigh on me, and I feel like a jerk. I really do, but I'm just so not into it.
Me personally, I would rather treat Christmas like Thanksgiving.
Yes,
where we have a nice meal and we spend time together. It's the leading up to it thing that's it's a little overwhelming for me. It has been for a long time. But you know why? Because I'm not a good gift giver.
I'll tell you this.
I suck at it.
I know that weighs heavily on you, and I get it. All the years of my life, my mother was so hardcore into Christmas, and so that has always carried with me. Now, I have had my lean years where I'm like, I was going through the motions, and I put it up, and I hoped that it would get me into the spirit, and eventually it would at some level. I find this year I went in early, and my Delco trim lights really help, by the way.
Oh yeah,
but it's just to me what happens in my neighborhood, and I would only wish this for everyone else, is that there is a very people come by the house and they Merry Christmas, and they like the display, and so I sort of by sheer force of will make it happen.
Yeah.
This year happens to be more of a banner Christmas year for me, but I've been there where things have just sucked after the loss of a loved one or whatever. I get it, or you just feel overwhelmed.
Just not feeling it.
Yeah, and don't beat yourself up for that if you're not in it. Just let it. If it happens, it happens. But just if you can find time to be happy to be with friends or whatever, then that's good too,
Yeah, I think, yesterday, I feel like the last few Sundays have just been miserable.
I know why.
And that didn't help, man, at all.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Well, Casey, on Saturday, I finished all the yard work that I've been trying to do all fall, right? Like just like cleaning up leaves and like cleaning up outside. And so I felt really good about that. And when I was finished doing that, I'm looking around the house on the outside. I was like, all right, now do I take the time to do the lights, Steve? And I'm like, no. Because I don't want to take them down eventually either. Like it's the putting up and then the taking them down.
That's why you got to go with Delco trim lights, man. They just put them up and they
Oh
just
my
stay
God,
up.
I effing love them. Yes, and I paid for it all myself. So I love it, and the neighborhood loves it, and you will love it too because Nick, they put it up and it stays up, and it's the perfect scenario.
No, I'm sure you're right. I probably would feel better and more Christmassy if I did that kind of stuff, but
I'm not anti-Christmas. I'm just not like...
You're not feeling it.
I'm not jingling all the way right now.
All right, well, here, I brought something for you guys this morning. And this will maybe put you in the spirit.
The cookies?
No. Well, actually, I do have cookies here, but that's not what I'm going to have you try.
Okay.
Oh.
Tabs of acid.
So Caroline made these. I was telling you guys about this. It was the crescent rolls. With the brown sugar and butter
Right.
combination. So I would like you guys to try one of these, Casey.
I can't eat right now because I have a chewing tobacco in. No, so I'll So I will
My
wait.
doctor put me on chewing tobacco.
I am not allowing anybody to have mine. I'm just not going to eat mine right now.
I have chewing tobacco.
All right then.
I'll get back to that story about Afghanistan in a second. I just got some chewing.
All right, I'll let you guys try them. They're so easy to make. I just absolutely
So
love
this is
these
like
things.
okay. So
Very good.
wait, is this a cinnamon roll?
I think it's better than a cinnamon roll.
Okay, so it's more like a little crescent, and she adds the sweetness to it.
Yeah. This isn't out of a. I mean, the crescent rolls are out of the can, but the added
It's got a little sweet
brown
in there?
sugar and butter and
A lot of sweet.
a little sweet. Yeah. She made these and I couldn't stop eating them. I'm like, get these out of here.
This would be a nightmare for me to have
Aren't
these
those
around.
great?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. And she made cookies as well. I'll have you guys try these later because there's a note on here and it says, choose wisely. One of these yummy cookies has way too much salt in it.
Oh.
So she did Russian roulette. Like she did it on
I
purpose.
love it.
Amazing.
Like one of the cookies she loaded up with salt, so one of them's going to taste nasty.
Look at those pro level cookies.
And
Roll 'em up
also-
there.
These are made from scratch.
Look at her handwriting.
Oh, she's got
Great
Amazing.
handwriting.
And did she make that container?
Great penmanship. She made this container
Wow.
out of polyurethane. No.
Homemade.
But I helped out with the cookies last night. But she's become a baker.
The only thing that would make this crescent roll any better is if it's right out of the oven. But this is so damn delicious.
Isn't that good?
It's fantastic. Nice work.
All right. Well, so there you go. Get a little bit
Look at look at his heart grew 2 times.
Oh my God! Wow!
The Grinch.
All it took was sweets.
We'll have Casey try some after.
Yeah, maybe it'll get once
he's
you
done
spit
with
the
his
chew
jaw.
out. Yeah,
When I'm done spitting.
Yeah.
It's Christmas tobacco.
Yep. But we'll try some of the cookies a little bit later
Can
on.
anyone tell me? Sure, it's chewing tobacco, Charlie Brown. Really?
For those who have not yet caught actually, we're getting a lot of texts, Casey, that are coming in and sharing the sentiment and actually are feeling good about the fact that they're not the only one when sometimes you're not feeling it and everybody else around you is. You can be like, well, what's wrong with me?
Please don't beat yourself up
You know
for
what I
it.
mean?
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely entitled to it. And just,
You know what? I bet I'll feel it a little bit more after Wednesday with the Christmas Miracle broadcast. Like, that always kind of gets me in the mood.
Didn't Kathy promise to flash you on Christmas?
Oh, my God.
Well, that was between us. That's a week from today.
Between us.
Merry Christmas!
Nikki.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you guys are disgusting.
I didn't say it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
These guys.
Oof. At least I set the wheels in motion, Nick.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to everyone.
But I am looking forward to the day and having a little time off. I mean, the leading up to it part with working on top of it and having to do all the other things. If you can get a couple of days off right around then, I think it makes a big difference.
I know, and it's a tough year. We have a very simple dinner. My wife is going to make me chocolate chip cookies, and we're going to have our and that I look forward so much to that time. That is everything. That's it. All distills down to that, and so you don't need all the trappings. Unless they're one of our sponsors, and yes, you do.
Yes, you do. No, it's the company you keep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Beasley.
Anyway, somebody's asking me if I'll share the recipe for the crescent rolls. It's actually crazy easy.
Yeah.
It's just dark brown sugar, which you mix with some melted butter until it's kind of like a paste of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can add in a little cinnamon if you want to, a little salt if you want to, too, depending on if you like the sweet and salty thing. But it's really, you just kind of eyeball it, and then you spread out the crescent rolls. They're in triangles. And you just spread some on there, and you roll them up, and then you cook them per the directions, and that's it. It's crazy.
They're like
easy.
mini Cinnabons without the icing, so
I like them better than the cinnamon rolls because the consistency of the crescent is a little more tender. I like cinnamon rolls, but they can be they're a little tough is the wrong word, but a little doughy. Yeah,
the ratio of dough to cinnamon is a lot more even.
Yeah.
Hey, is Carter coming home? And if so, how long is he going to come home for?
Yeah,
Because I know he's not far, but
No, he's not far, but he'll be back on Wednesday, I think, is when he gets in. And I don't know. I guess he's going to stay till, right after the first of the year.
It's going to be hard to get a flight.
So that's going to be great. Yeah, I know. Man, Westchester Airport
God almighty.
is this time of year, it's crazy.
Dad, I'm not going to be able to make it. I could not catch a flight from Westchester.
I can't.
Yeah, if you started walking now, you'd be home.
I told you when I was at Westchester one year, it was Christmas Eve, and we were like, we are not going home. We're staying here up until the last second. And our parents called on Christmas Eve, and my mom and my best friend Stacy's dad. I remember Stacy's dad calling. He goes, "Get your ass home."
Yeah.
We were like, "Oh, I guess we gotta go home now."
And he's kind of playing that too because initially he was going to come back today.
Oh.
And now it's Wednesday. Get your ass back here.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh man, it's more fun
By the
there.
way, same dilemma on A Very Brady Christmas, which was on MeTV last night. You remember the Very Brady Christmas?
It's been ages.
Cindy's away at college, and she wants to go on a ski thing. Of course, it wasn't the real Cindy because the real Cindy wouldn't be a part of that movie. But anyway, and then she just went home, and she had basically the same thing that you went through. Get your ass home.
Okay.
Get your ass home.
No. All right. Well, anyhow.
You lisping bitch.
Was not familiar with those. You lisping bitch. I was not familiar with those superstitions around Christmas time, but apparently there are a few of them. And we're gonna get into some of our holiday themes that we normally do this time of year over the next couple of days, helping find some gifts, stuff like that,
Maybe-
or looking out for bad gifts. And
Maybe this is exactly what everyone here needs if you're feeling, not in the spirit.
Speaking of gifts, at some point this morning, we'll do another invite Christmas miracle. Not going to do it now, but because we just gave one a little while ago, but we have 3 left. So we'll do one more today and then 2 more tomorrow. And then that is it because the live broadcast is going to be on Wednesday. But that doesn't mean we don't have other things to give away. Casey, tomorrow night, is hosting a screening of the very much anticipated film Rebel Moon Part 1.
Yes.
From our good friend Zack Snyder, who we're going to talk to tomorrow.
Yes.
Mind you. And so we've got some passes for the screening tomorrow night. We'll take callers number 12 and 13 at 215-263-WMMR. It will be coming out on December 22nd on Netflix, by the way. And this is a huge passion project for Zack Snyder. He's been trying to get this thing going for years, and finally it is out. So that screening is tomorrow night. By the way, where is it, Casey? I'm sorry. I didn't mention.
Fashion District.
Okay. The AMC Fashion District?
AMC Fashion District in Center City.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back in a second. We'll get to the Bizarre File. Then we have guests Curtis Armstrong and Nimesh Patel on the program, too. So stay put. We'll be back in a moment.
Judgmental without really, and we all have our own stuff. We all have our own issues, and it'd be a shame for somebody to go and affect somebody else's life knowing they have stuff. I mean, that's a bad situation.
Yeah, the inclination just to dismiss people in their entirety it's got to change. It's how I think that's how we all heal when we start to do what you just said.
Yeah.
Casey mentioned your work ethic and how busy you are. Do you ever take breaks? You ever go on a little downtime?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's golf. It's golf, right?
But golf. I mean, I get that. I get that time every day. I wake up with my prayer routine and reading scripture, and then I kind of work out. And then if I'm lucky, I wake the kids up. I'll go play golf in 2 hours or less. I have that time to myself, and then I kind of work for the rest of the day. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the summer after I finish a movie in July and go up to our lake house in Gaza Ranch and play golf and hang out with the kids. And
you're my kind of golfer, by the way. I'm like a Sunday morning, crack of dawn.
Yeah,
little under 2 hours. I can play 18 holes.
Yeah,
Love
you got too much stuff to do. I mean,
you do a lot of praying on the course, I assume, right?
Please God, go
to make this
Please
fun.
God, go.
Yeah, it's funny because my wife was just give me an earful. She was like, Brendan, my youngest son now is playing golf too, which is the greatest thing ever.
Totally.
And it annoys my wife so much because now she can never say no to me going to play because both of my sons are playing.
Bonding time.
So he's like, Mom, Dad even rushes on the golf course. And she's like, you know how bad that is? You're rushing on the golf course. I said, whoa. I said, do you know why I rush on the golf course? She's like, no, why? I said, because you call me every 10 minutes going, where are you? Why are you taking so long? Get home. So I purposely stopped playing in the middle of the day with my friends and playing the 4-hour golf round.
Right.
And I started playing first thing, crack of dawn, like a crazy person for you. It's only for you.
Mark, there are certain scenes in certain movies that will just always bring a smile to my face. There's a scene in Ted 2 where you guys are doing the Law and Order theme, and they started. Yes. And
hey,
so,
you lawyer guy. Bum, bum.
They were advertising Law and Order: The Return during the Super Bowl this year pretty heavily, and I could not hear your voice and Seth MacFarlane's voice every time the spot came on. So I just want to thank you publicly for doing that scene.
Wow, thank you.
Well, I got to put in for the stripper name when you run the stripper names. It's a perennial. My wife and I, that's a perennial. So
Well, there's a lot we could thank you for, but you do have to get going. So we're just going to remind people that Father Stew is in theaters April 13th. It's a great film. And if you get a chance, please go see it. And it's great to have you here in person. Thanks for stopping by,
likewise.
man.
It's nice to actually get into the studio again, see people one-on-one, face-to-face. I mean, this pandemic has been tough on everybody. So
I hear you, man.
Well, the movie came at the right time.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Mark Wahlberg.
Can't understand the words. Can you understand them?
Yeah, the mix is.
I heard something about Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
I can give you the Well, I mean, it's accurate to Nicki Minaj. I mean,
seriously.
I heard Iceworks.
Wait a minute. No, that's from Star Wars. I hear a character. Oh, from one of the movies.
What is it?
I know what you're talking about.
It's
now.
the dude with the butt face, the vagina face.
Oh, yeah. In the cantina.
Oh, yeah. In the cantina.
You'll be dead.
What?
Your face looks like a vagina.
I'll be careful.
A vagina.
What?
A woman's vagina. That's what your face looks like.
Oh.
Kathy, you've never seen the vagina?
Your face looks like a woman's vagina, is what I'm attempting to say. On this planet, it's probably the norm, but where I come from, we would be sexually aroused by your face. You understand? I'll forget it.
It's Alec Guinness's
See,
birthday today.
on my planet, we would say face effing, but we could do that with you. I'll forget it.
He doesn't understand. And welcome back from the weekend. Yesterday was just wonderful and didn't even rain as much as I thought it was going to.
So I've learned that even if they say it's going to rain, I don't know, it's been breaking in our favor lately the last couple times. So, it was wonderful. How energizing is that when you step out and it's like that?
We went out, my daughter and son and I went out and hit a couple of parks. We went to Valley Forge, we went to the Audubon Society's sanctuary. And walked around outside for a while. And just, we were taking in the smells. Like when you get out into the areas, into the woods and so on, and you get these scents, it's just great, man. Makes you feel good.
It's funny you should say that, because I said, warm weather has... See, there are reasons. There's obvious reasons. Things are warming up and you're getting that smell. But the second you step outside, you're like, it just smells like spring. Yeah. It smells good.
It's just so inviting.
Preston, are you enjoying nature? It's so nice, isn't it? Your walks with your family will be remembered forever. Yeah. Please drink it in.
And I posted this on Instagram yesterday. We found a used Trojan condom. Right by one of the cannons.
Did you think it was a Civil War condom?
I think it was, and that's why we left it. We felt that maybe it was important to leave that piece of history right there where it was. Yeah. Plus, we didn't want to touch it because it might have been some kind of who knows what, and I didn't have any gloves or anything.
Yeah. Well, that could have been Lincoln's condom.
It could have been. Well, maybe Washington. You never know. It was made out of wood.
Oh, my God.
Well, it was stuffed with wood.
It was a wood rubber. No.
My dearest wife. Sex has become so painful since I started using wooden condoms. Sorry about the splinters last night.
But anyhow, getting outside, oh man, it was something else. After surviving an overdose, a woman returns to her childhood home to confront her personal demons, but instead discovers a real one in Matriarch. Here star Kate Dickey explains who her character is.
Is not what she appears on the surface.
Slightly Scottish, you think?
Possibly, I'm not sure.
She has a whole different agenda going on as well. But it unfolds into something that you're maybe not quite expecting.
What the hell are you talking about?
That's one of the thickest I've ever heard.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can we play that again?
Instead of two, she says tay.
Yeah.
Is not what she appears on the surface. And she has a whole different agenda going on as well. But it unfolds into something that you're maybe not quite expecting.
Yeah,
I love a hardcore Scottish accent.
That is hardcore.
That is thick.
Though I'll have to see the movie and see, because a lot of times, as amazing as it is, someone with an accent that thick can peel it back, and you wouldn't know.
So Matriarch is out on Hulu now.
Where are you from?
Is not what she appears on the surface. And she has a whole different agenda going on as well. But it unfolds into something that you're maybe not quite expecting.
It's like a Simpsons character.
I know.
Totally.
Holy crap.
Groundskeeper Willie.
All right, next clip. Here we go. In Ticket to Paradise, a divorced couple teams up to stop their daughter from making the same mistake they think they made 25 years ago. This clip star George Clooney explains why he and co-star Julia Roberts never dated.
Is not what she appears on the surface. And she has a whole different agenda going on as well.
Before we do the bizarre file, I should play that piece of audio.
Okay. It's real short.
It's very, very quick. It's not an audio illusion or anything like that. But we don't know where this is. Graduation ceremony. It looks like a college graduation.
It was college graduation,
and as you walk up, this is your moment. This is your family is there. It's your time to shine. You get your name said with the thousands of people in attendance. You walk across the stage. You grab your diploma that you've worked so hard for
and paid a lot for.
This is the culmination.
And as you're walking, they announce your name.
Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Kirkhoff.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
This is legit.
Julie
Too legit to quit.
Wait, one more time. One more time. Quiet, everyone, please. It's her moment.
Yeah.
Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Kirkhoff.
Oh, my God.
Forgive me.
Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Julie Handjob. Forgive me, Julie Handy. Forgive me, Julie Blumpkin. Forgive me, Julie Dirty Sanchez. Oh, my God.
Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Kirkhoff.
Oh.
Wow.
You know what, though? That's better than just having your name read that most people are missing anyway.
You know she was called Jerkoff throughout all her life.
It had to have been a nickname at some point, or her friends.
Julie Jerkoff.
Yeah.
Or Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Kirkhoff.
If you think about
Julie oh my God, I can't believe I said that.
Or that professor won a nice bet.
Yeah.
Said she would do it. And
Julie Salad Tosser. Oh, it's not even close.
If you think about it, in high school, she probably had Jerkoff as a I wouldn't even say a nickname. You know, they made fun of her.
Maybe even her friends would call her that because it's such an obvious. But
and then she gets to college where everybody matures a little bit, and she loses the Jerkoff for a couple of years.
It's
and
clear,
then boom.
Kirkhoff is I mean, you can come into that Kirkhoff,
dude. She's getting her master's degree. It's a Master of Science degree as she goes up in here.
Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Kirkhoff.
Well, and she doesn't. If this is the actual video that we're watching, she doesn't even flinch. The girl, Julie.
You know what? When they're doing it,
you couldn't even
hear.
You're so excited, and your focus is walk forward, shake hand, take diploma, walk off. Jerk off.
Jerk off.
Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Kirkhoff.
Well, you did very well, Miss Jerkoff.
And she sounds so sweet.
I know.
Please come up to the microphone, Julie Jerkoff, and tell everyone how you achieved your success.
Forgive me.
It's the jerk-off way, I think, that we can all emulate.
Oh, my God.
But there's countless names like that are being butchered in similar ceremonies going on. In fact, this very weekend, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
There'll be mangled names.
Yep, loads of them. You realize anytime we have a caller named Julie, we will have to play.
Julie Jerkoff.
It's awesome.
It's the best.
It made my day yesterday when Casey sent that to me.
So, on that one level, is it sort of cool that you have, since she's probably dealt with it her whole life, at least she has a meme now that's attached to her.
Let's see. We have a caller on the line real quick, and I'm going to go to this caller. Hi, caller. Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Julie.
Julie Jerkoff.
Thank you, Julie.
Our first Julie Jerkoff.
Our first to be given the Julie Jerkoff Award. In Ireland, a radio DJ died in the middle of his morning show, the station said. Yeah. Tim Goff was his name, 55 years old, was an hour into his broadcast when the music stopped halfway through a song. The music resumed a few minutes later, but the presenter did not return to his show. The broadcaster, Gen X Radio Suffolk, later confirmed that Tim sadly died. He was 55 years old, and the rest of the story was about people offering their condolences, so I don't know what happened.
It wasn't part of their Cash Cadaver promotion, was it?
I don't think it was. Don't think it was, Steve.
Now, one of us is going to die during the day. And we're going to die on air. When we do, call in.
Steve.
You've won Cash Cadaver.
Dude.
That's not funny. Although He probably would get a kick out of this.
No, that's just it was his time, and it's horrific. You remember I passed out.
Are you
on
saying
air.
he would have enjoyed that bit?
I don't know. Would any of us have enjoyed it?
Probably.
I think so.
Probably.
I mean, if I ever die on air while I'm here with you guys and you want to do a cash contest surrounding that,
Okay, will you be our cash cadaver?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want you guys sobbing.
Steve, I love the voice. So Dracula comes on.
11th call and you'll be cash cadaver.
Oh my God.
He didn't sound strong when he cracked the mic today. I just knew it was going to happen.
Oh, that's the actuarial.
Yeah.
That's the actuality from the
I was
winner.
waiting by my phone, and when he started coughing, I knew it was time.
This is horrible. This is terrible. That poor guy.
He just sounded weak.
That's what I knew to call.
I knew. I stayed right.
Dude. Oh my God. To our own kind.
I know. We're horrible.
Our own kind.
Well, they shouldn't have set up the contest.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
What is this stupid contest?
Be the 14th column.
You're the 11th caller for cash cadaver.
Oh man.
That poor rest in peace.
Totally,
Oh,
man.
my God.
It's just beyond. It's beyond the pale.
I'm not going to be able to stop thinking about that.
All right, we got a text that it should have been called the morning show. MOURN.
Ah, yeah.
No. We're very excited to welcome once again Mr. Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Chevy, thank you for coming on.
Chevy Chase. I've never heard a voice that low in my life.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the
Yes.
compliment.
Yes, who is this, please?
That's Preston, who has the low voice, and I'm the bald guy, if you can see us. So I'm Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you the guy with the voice?
No, Preston.
Oh,
I think I'm the guy with the voice.
that was very good. I loved it.
Hey, Chevy.
Hi, guys. Nice to see you.
It's
Nice to
wonderful
see
to
you.
have you on. I needed to ask, you 39 years ago, you guys made the film National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And when you think back to that time when you were filming it, did you know that you had something extra special in that film and that people would still be loving it today? Because I've already watched it 3 times in the past couple of weeks.
No, I didn't like it. But no, of course. Let me just say this. When I make movies, I hope that people will like it, but you don't know, really. In fact, I've been doing recently some appearances, such as the one I'll be doing in Atlantic City at Tropicana, where I'm with an actual audience of, I don't know, a few thousand people or whatever. And until that time,
Metro traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, before we get to the B5 start outs, and Steve, you wanted to mention a guy that you and I know very well.
When you talk about a nice guy, just a supremely nice guy, is one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. Both Claire and I love this guy. I know you and Rochelle do as well, Preston. Anyone who has had the opportunity to meet him, he is one of the top tech guys for Xfinity. His name is Joe Casey. And he had an incident that put him in the hospital about a week ago. And he seems to be doing okay. I'm corresponding back and forth with him. He apparently is in Lehigh Hospital. And so he just asked for a shout out. But again, this is such a nice guy. And Joe, we are thinking about you. And anything we can do, we love you to death. And you just keep us apprised of what's going on with you. And here's to a quick turnaround and you getting out and enjoying the holidays with your family. So this is for you, Joe.
And Joe, you got to get better because you have to make that honey.
Yes.
It's so good.
He's the bee man.
It is the
Yeah.
best. And I always request, I'm like, can we get some more of the honey, please?
Yeah.
So get better, Joe. We hope you're doing well, man. All right. A couple other quick shout outs. This one says, what's up, Totally Presbo? My name is Aaron Parker, and I would like to get a big juicy shout out to my sister, Sergeant Aileen Parker, of the Middletown Township Police Department on Monday, today. She is being promoted to lieutenant. She was the first female detective and sergeant in Middletown Township history.
That's awesome.
And now will be the first female lieutenant. And we are so proud of her and can't wait to see what else she accomplishes in the future. Her and Kathy are also proof that even a couple of girls from Levittown can make it in life. And she says 10 points for Bucksco. Keep it in Nooch. That is from Aaron Parker. So here you go. Shout out and a congratulations.
That's a huge thing.
Job, Aileen.
Yeah.
And then this one is another police-related one. It says, I'd like to give a big, juicy shout out to the dozens of law enforcement agency, business organizations, and individuals who supported the 28th annual Lieutenant Patty Simmons Law Enforcement Food Drive. Each year, the drive collects tons of food to support 9 food banks in Montgomery County. The event culminates with a parade of emergency vehicles that escort a flatbed tractor trailer to the Norristown Salvation Army, where we unloaded enough food to keep them going into next spring. None of this would be possible without a massive support that we received from everyone who works countless volunteer hours to make it all happen, and they are definitely shout-out worthy. That is from Brett Wells, who is the Drive co-chair. So
well done.
There's a shout-out. Absolutely love hearing that, guys. Thank you, and great work. All right, let us do the B-Files.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, we'll start with this, brought to you by Pro Team Collision, your certified collision repair center. If you get into an accident, Pro Team Collision is there for all of your auto body repair needs. A family vacationing in Sri Lanka had a close encounter with a wild elephant which ransacked their vehicle in search of food. The incident occurred. That's
me. It was pretty good.
That's
Steve
on the elephant.
Yeah.
The incident occurred while a van with tourists was passing through the Yala National Park. The video showed the animal emerging from behind the trees and smashing through the van's window. Yeah.
What a friggin' nightmare.
The Tusker then searched for food through the driver's side of the seat and pulled out a paper bag. It got back in again, sniffing for more food.
Don't mind if I do.
Well, listen to this. One of the tourists in the van can be seen passing on their packet of chips to the elephant as the driver frantically tried to escape.
Wow, you do anything.
Kasim Benazyake, who was in there, said, it started sniffing around our feet for food, and the driver told us to give it anything we had. So I fed it my son's leftover sandwich. And he was traveling with his family at the time. He said, he told me, throw the rest of it out the window. So I did, and the driver then managed to speed off.
Miracle Whip!
Yeah, those sandwiches, he gets all pissed off. Those sandwiches and chips probably saved our lives, he said. No one was hurt in the incident. Wow. So, yeah, it could have gotten real bad. We're looking at the video footage of it. The trunk comes inside the car. It's just like, I'm taking what you got. Man. Memphis police. The Memphis Police Department has arrested and charged a woman they say shot her friend while she was joking about fighting her.
That's not funny.
When police arrived, they discovered that a female victim had been shot in the chest.
I want to fight you.
A witness and friend of the victim informed the police that Teosha Rogers, the suspect, fired one shot and struck the victim. Police said the witness, Rogers, and the victim were joking about fighting each other. Rogers playfully grabbed a gun and pointed it at the victim, not knowing the gun was loaded. Rogers informed the police that she was not arguing or actually fighting the victim. She was taken into police custody and is now facing charge of aggravated assault and reckless endangerment.
Above all things, always,
yes,
never,
the gun's loaded.
Point a gun, loaded or not, at anyone.
You should always consider the gun to be loaded, whether it is or not. All right, this is outrageous. A 4-month-old baby has miraculously survived after he was sucked up by a tornado and flung into a tree in Tennessee.
Is that amazing?
Sydney Moore, 22 years old, was home at Clarksville in Tennessee with her 2 babies and her fiance when a huge twister ripped through their home. The monster storm pulled 4-month-old Lord, who was tucked up in his bassinet, out of the trailer before the house was torn to shreds.
Lord.
Up there in a tree. It's a tree baby.
Moore threw herself over the body of her other 1-year-old son, Preston, and clutched him while the trailer was repeatedly picked up and dropped amidst the violent tornado. Meanwhile, her fiance desperately tried to rescue the baby before he, too, was pulled from the home and thrown out alongside the sleeping child. She said he tried to grab him, but he couldn't, and for the tip of the tornado sucked them both up. He was just holding onto the bassinet the whole time, and they went into circles. After escaping the wreckage of their home, the couple frantically searched for Lord, Lord, and miraculously found him alive, laying on a tree that had fallen in the
I'm up here
in the pouring rain. She said, "I thought he was dead. I was pretty sure he was dead, and we weren't going to find him, but he is here."
That is amazing.
Yeah, a GoFundMe account has been created by Caitlin to raise money for the family who now are homeless after losing everything in the tornado. Moore's story has since attracted some skepticism, to which she responded, "For everyone saying I'm lying, karma will get you."
Yeah.
Moore had to walk a mile to reach an ambulance, and eventually a doctor glued Lord's injured ear. Moore's fiancee suffered a broken arm and shoulder from the catastrophe, according to Caitlin, while the rest of the family sustained some minor cuts and bruises. Wow.
Listen, it seems miraculous, and so it seems real, you know?
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, just the confluence of events. He, missed, the debris missed him. And
talk to
hit the
Dorothy.
ground.
She ended up in a whole other area with dwarves.
Yeah. After purchasing a meatball sandwich for his nephew, a Florida man poured Visine all over the food, which was later partially consumed by his relative, according to police who arrested the man on a felony poisoning charge. Investigators say James Leach was at a market near his home Wednesday when he asked an employee for a bottle of Visine due to having dry eyes. Upon securing the Visine, Leach allegedly opened a container of the food and proceeded to pour the eye drop solution all over the meatball sandwich inside.
We have since learned, you think, oh, okay, it's going to make them sick to their stomach. It can be lethal.
Yep. When the worker declared that the liquid could hurt someone, Leach reportedly replied that it would only cause the victim to crap himself and puke his brains out.
Right.
Visine's active ingredient, which is tetrahydrozoline hydrochloride, can actually be lethal if ingested. The market employee who described Leach as a regular customer said the suspect had issues with his nephew and declared that he, quote, hated his kin. Leach and the victim reside together and have a long history of domestic-related issues, according to police.
So I'm going to kill him.
Who have added that officers have answered several prior calls for service at the pair's home. After receiving a 911 call from the market, police reviewed store security footage, which the affidavit states clearly shows Leach dousing the meatball sandwich with Visine. He was charged with poisoning in the case, by the way. So, yeah. And that is what we have in the bizarre file for you.
It was bizarre, properly bizarre.
All right. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in a moment. Our first guest of the day, very much look forward to speaking to him, Curtis Armstrong. Of course, he played Booger in Revenge of the Nerds, as well as other great characters throughout television and movies. So his book is excellent. We're going to talk to him when we return, so stay with us, dear friends.
Quite a few girls for that role.
I see.
And that just seemed right away. So
yeah,
I chose that girl.
And I saw that you and her and Christy Brinkley was at Comic-Con recently, or it was a convention?
Oh, a few days ago, yeah.
Does that does that happen from time to time? You know, some of the national the vacation family kind of run into each other here and there.
Not really. That just happened to be. I know. Why did that happen to be? It did anyway.
Yeah.
Christy and Bev are quite a couple. I won't even get into it. It's too funny.
That's awesome.
I say Randy Quaid is, of course, amazing in it, and Randy's taken some turns since the movie, but that he comedically, for a guy who's also a tremendous actor, a dramatic actor, he just ate that role up. Was some of your dialogue improv with him as well?
I backed off a little bit and turned to your volume. Are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we lost you for just a second.
You were saying Randy?
Randy
I
Quaid.
was about to say that Randy, if it weren't for Randy, I wouldn't make those movies. As you said, he's a brilliant actor, period. And he just came out and, you serious, Clark? That guy.
Yeah.
And I do a good impression of Randy. And I just think he's such a solid guy. I spoke to him on the phone relatively recently, and he was home with his wife and child, who unfortunately is a puppy, a dog. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, but no, Randy and his, he's just a regular guy. I mean, I can't tell you, when we're walking through that the grocery store and he keeps piling the dog food on the thing. I'm not going to give it all. That's the guy I wanted.
Yeah.
And he did that, by the way, out of nowhere. He just started piling those things on.
It's hilarious.
I picked up some light bulbs and put that there to see what would happen.
Chevy, do you have a favorite of any of the vacation movies? I mean, each one of them means something different to each one of us. Is there one that stands out to you?
Well, I like The Godfather version.
The Godfather is an American masterpiece.
I know. So is one of mine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep fighting for it. No, I don't think. I think The First Vacation and Christmas Vacation are probably my favorites. But then then I think about European Vacation. That was very funny.
Yeah.
I had Eric Idle in that, and then Vegas Vacation wasn't my favorite. It was rough to do, but otherwise, I mean, I enjoyed it very much. Obviously, but yeah, I think the first one and the last one.
Well, there are tons of stories associated with the movies, and I'll just bring up one that you got a lot of tidbits that you've given us today. But as the legend goes, Chris Columbus was offered the directing role for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation first, and then passed on it, and he went on to direct Home Alone from that. Is that correct?
No, actually, he discovered the country in 1492.
Oh, it was that one. Wow.
Anyway, I have no idea if that's really true. I don't know Chris Columbus. Okay. I always wanted Harold Ramis, and is that who I got?
No, you got Jeremiah Chechik.
Oh, I got Jeremiah. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So there you have it. My knowledge of that is really shaky.
The conversation has been great, and this is some of what you'll get if you attend the screening and the conversation afterwards.
Yeah, this is going to be
thank you.
Saturday night at Tropicana Casino and Resort NAC. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. I'm actually going to give away some here in just a little bit.
8 o'clock. It'll be great fun. I hope the place fills up and is packed with young girls.
As a fan,
wonderful people.
As a fan, we are thrilled you're doing this with your movie catalog because we are massive fans.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you. I thank you for that.
Thanks you
for
so
the
much,
interview.
Chevy. Have a great holiday. Enjoy the weekend and take care of yourself, okay?
Well, you too, guys.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Chevy Chase, guys. I mean, come on, man. The great Joe Satriani, guitarist.
The only rock in St. Louis, KGN 89.1. Up on deck right now, we've got some hot new stuff from a guy, Joe Satriani. This cat really knows how to play guitar. Watch out for him. He's getting some really
Stop it.
If I have to listen to, he's calling my phone.
Okay, all right.
You gotta listen to that.
Success from his all-instrumental album, which you don't...
This is me in broadcasting school.
Right.
Mind you.
...seen much of, and I see some very big things from him in the future. So what do you say we roll it? This is The Crush of Love on KGN.
At least, listen, I still have never showed you guys mine. At least you're like, you're doing it. Like, I froze. I didn't, like, the words weren't even coming out of my mouth.
There's no words on it?
Oh, yeah. It was, Steve, there were very little words on it.
I didn't know that.
Do you have it, or is it just mythical
No,
now?
I have it. I think I lied to you guys and said I didn't.
I think you did.
I knew it.
We know you did. Preston, but that's a very serviceable... It's not that bad.
It was terrible.
No, that's what I mean. Like listen, it's terrible now, but like you were speaking well, and you.
I can't read it. There's no words on it.
I was talking like this,
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like you're in broadcast school.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, here's another one if you want to hear Foreigner.
This is KGN 89.1, the only rock of St. Louis. Good afternoon. I am feeling good, and I hope you are too. And if not, I've got just the thing for you. Here's a little bit of Foreigner, Double Vision on KGN.
I like that. I hope you're feeling good. If not, there's not a goddamn thing I can do about it.
That's me, by the way, just sitting in a booth with a tape recorder.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually on the radio.
It's
I was
the weirdest-
pretending. I had to make up a radio station. KGN did not exist. I made that up. No. I don't know why I thought of those letters KGN. K-Gun.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. Kevin Gunn.
Yeah.
Anyway, Joe Satriani, that cat turned 66 years old today. We are so happy he is back in town. It's been a while since he's been here in this studio, and we know him as Gay Robot. We love him for that. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Swartz.
Yeah, everybody
is with us. Good morning, sir.
I'm glad you got my name right and didn't call me Blink 182. you nailed it.
It's that kind of day, Nick.
It is.
Flooding in the streets and in Preston's.
Dear Lord.
When did your friendship with Adam Sandler begin?
We on J-Date.
It was J-Date.
Yeah. This generation now, it's funny because
that's why I wanted to.
They'll come to my show and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're really good at stand-up."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I've been doing it like 22 years, which is insane." And yeah, a lot of people just know your movies, so it's kind of a bonus when they're like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like Michael Jordan when they're like, go to see him play baseball, and they're like, "Oh, you play basketball? Oh my gosh,
this is a whole other
crazy."
Wait, you're the Michael Jordan of comedy?
No.
Michael Jordan of baseball.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was
exactly.
Was Chuck and Larry the first movie you did with Adam, or did you do anything before that?
Adam saw my stand-up on Comedy Central.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was in bed with his wife, and he was channel surfing, and he was like, "Oh, it's this kid." And I was a kid at the time, and he wrote my name down in the office, and he was like, "Who is this dude?" And a lot of the younger guys were like, "Oh, that's this kid Nick Swartzen." That was my first special. And I used to do jokes about my grandmother.
Oh, I love them.
And so he had a script called Grandma's Boy, and he like called my manager, and I had a meeting with him, which was surreal, obviously. And the whole time I just wanted to be like, "Yeah, you." So I didn't do that. And I'm still working with him. But.
There's a scene in that movie. Michelle Carmen, who's one of our calendars, is the girl who is across the street.
Moon balloons.
Oh yeah.
She's from Philly and she's in one of our calendars. Yes.
I remember Sandler called me up and he goes, "Hey man, I'm doing this movie Chuck and Larry with James," and I was like, "All right, cool." And he goes, "Yeah, it's a part for you," and I go, "All right, great." And he goes, "Yeah, you're playing Jessica Biel's brother." I'm like, "That's amazing." And he goes, "Yeah, you're a gay brother." And I was like, "I've been doing a lot of gay stuff." I was on Reno 911 at the time. So I was like 4 or 5 years deep in Reno 911. And he was like, "No, dude, it's not like your character Terry on Reno 911. It's different. It's not that gay." And I show up to work. I show up to wardrobe, and they put me in like a butterfly outfit with like tiny shorts.
Yes.
And I was like, "Yeah, this is way different. Way different."
And then you end up playing in another movie I think is underrated, is Blades of Glory.
Oh yeah.
And you play the stalker, who comes up with the conceit that gets.
I saved the movie.
Saved the movie, yeah. But that was another gay character.
It was gay-ish.
Gay.
It wasn't like bursting into flames. It was just like half my leg was on fire.
I wanted to ask about your fascination with bats, because we had seen an interview that bats. You want to have pet bats or something like that.
What interview is that?
I don't know. It says here he loves bats. Farm in a recent interview.
Did you
That's
want to buy
insanity.
That's not
That
you.
is completely false. Bats are horrifying. I want nothing to do with bats.
So who
You never said that in an interview?
Who grabbed the
I
piece of
probably
information?
did, but I do a lot of mushrooms.
Who grabbed the piece of information about the bat farm?
I don't know what could possibly have happened there.
In your data sheet.
Bats are literally horrifying. I remember when I was growing up, I lived in an apartment with my mom, and there was a bat in the house, and me and my mom were freaking out, and they make a weird high-pitched sound. They're horrifying.
Unlike anything you've ever heard, and they're making their location sound, their echolocation. You know it the second you hear it.
Yeah, you know the second you hear it. And me and my mom freaked out, and we hid in her bedroom. We didn't know what to do, because it's like, it's like, do we call the police? Like, I don't know what to do. And the bat climbed. They can under, like you said, this tiny sliver underneath the door.
That's all they need.
It was like a horror movie.
Yeah.
And it came in, and it made this weird sound, and Yeah, I just end up killing my mom and eating her. And
Okay,
I just didn't want her to live through that.
So it's the absolute
All right.
antithesis
The love
of
of
a bad
bats
thing.
is incorrect then.
All right. How?
Yeah, I don't know who said
It
that.
was when you were in Austin for your third time. It says, why do you keep coming back? And you said, I love Austin. I actually looked into buying a place there. Just like the vibe. It's creative. Everyone is super cool. I love the music. And you have bats. I want to move there and buy a bat farm.
It was a joke.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I lied to that city. That was an open lie.
Christy, did you come up with that information? That's our intern, Christy,
Yeah.
by the way. She tried to go see your show last night, but got stuck in traffic and couldn't make it. She went all the way out there to Bethlehem.
I'm sorry.
And couldn't make it. And you got a show in Albany tonight?
I have Albany tonight and then Brigada tomorrow.
Wow, dude.
DC. Yeah, I'm on, I think it's like at 35 or 40 cities right now.
So now, besides the flight, and you got that stuff all handled, are you a good traveler generally?
At your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thanks, Kath. When it comes to my reading material, I'm more of a fiction guy. I read a lot of Stephen King, things like that. And recently, Geddy Lee came out with his memoir.
Yeah.
Of course, he's one of my idols, so I got the audiobook. I listened to it, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to stick with the bio thing for a little bit.
Oh, I love bios. Yeah.
And so I decided to listen to the audio version of a book that I received 6 years ago and only kind of flipped through because we were interviewing the author. And I've listened to this book, and when I tell you, I've enjoyed every single second of it.
Going on about it.
It's one of those that I can't wait to go and keep listening to. I still only have about 20 minutes left. I'm almost done with it. But it makes sense that we have him on as a guest, even though the book has been out for a little while, that Moonlighting was recently added to Netflix's schedule.
It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was one of the stars on that show. So we are happy to help bring on from the author of the book, which is called Revenge of the Nerd. Please welcome Mr. Curtis Armstrong to the show this morning. How you doing, Curtis?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for coming on, man. I have thoroughly enjoyed the book, and I'm sorry it took me 6 years to get to it.
It's all right. It took a lot of people 6 years. It's actually the audiobook is actually still available. It's out there. The other book is out of print now, but I mean the actual book is out of print. But the audiobook's doing pretty well, actually. So
Excellent.
That's kind of nice.
Well, listen, I was, it's not just I was a fan of the characters you've played, Booger and all the other movies and TV shows and so on. But I also am curious as to a character actor's career. Because it can be uncertain, it can be chaotic, it can be and the viewing pleasure is filled with people who play these little one-off characters, or they're not the star of the show. And there's so many of you guys that do that, and you've had a very successful career. So I was just curious as to, how that a career like that plays out. And you do it wonderfully. You explain it in the book.
Well, even when I was a kid, and I was watching the old movies on TV, the Universal and Warner Brothers movies from the 30s and 40s, I was always struck by those people who would be playing small parts in all of those. They were attached to the studios, and they would play all these great character parts. And it was always the part of the movie that intrigued me, in a lot of cases even more than who the stars were. And it wasn't that I set out to do that. It was sort of destined. I wasn't really leading man material. So when I decided I was going to be an actor, it was sort of, even in my early appearances on stage, it was always in those sorts of parts, secondary parts, comic relief, second banana, all that stuff. And it turns out that it actually is quite a great way of making a living. As long as you're not too particular, and God knows I've never been particular.
Well, I would say this, Curtis, is that, yes, I've always thought that the character actors, the legendaries, just sort of the stalwarts who would pop up in movies and sort of would be the real foundation of a movie. Jack Lemmon often used to say that and talk about character actors, and that that was the career to have, because if you were good at your craft, you could keep working and have a wide variety. A leading man sometimes gets stamped with a particular role, and that's what they have to ride out. But
right.
I would,
and that's really true. And Jack Lemmon's a great example of somebody who was a character leading man, sort of. I mean, he was one of the rare ones who was sort of a big star, but at heart, he was a character actor and worked until the end.
Yeah, yeah. I would see, and I mean this is the absolute compliment. From early on in your career, when I would see you in something, I'd say, okay, this is going to have my sensibility. I'm sure you've had actors like that in your life where you say, oh, he's in this? Okay. Or she's in this? Okay.
Yeah. Definitely true.
Right.
Definitely true.
Right. So over time, I mean, obviously when you're a character actor and you're working your way up, you only have so much pull as far as what you can turn down.
But I was lucky because after, when I'd been doing stage work for a while, but my first movie was Risky Business.
Yeah.
And the first part in Risky Business, the part in Risky Business was one that got a lot of attention because he was a prominent sort of supporting character with Tom Cruise. And the movie was important not just because it was a popular movie, but because it influenced other writers and directors who came after. So the guy who directed, Jeff Canoe, who directed Revenge of the Nerds, he was a fan of Risky Business. So I get into Revenge of the Nerds. Then Savage Steve Holland is directing Better Off Dead, and he's a fan of Risky Business and Revenge of the Nerds, so he casts me in Better Off Dead. And it just went that way. It was like in the 80s, there were 4 or 5 jobs that I had that were the foundation of the rest of my career.
Wow.
And to this day, I'm still working, and to a great extent, it was due to those and, maybe 1 or 2 others. The rest of it has just been work.
Right, and work you have. Looking at as we get ready for interviews, we take a peek at IMDb for a list of credits, and this is like a phone book. The amount of stuff that you have managed to keep yourself busy doing, and because you've done a lot of one-offs, a lot of not necessarily cameos, but smaller roles that are here and there. Is that a fun way to go about a career? I know you've had some where you've stopped and worked for a while, like Moonlighting, and we'll touch on some of that stuff, and Supernatural. But but going from job to job, a bit of a vagabond. Do you feel that way, or do you like it that way because you're constantly changing clothes, so to speak?
I've never been bored. I'll tell you that. I mean, even the jobs like Moonlighting or Supernatural, those were great parts. And it gave me lots to do. Even if I was on them for years, I never got tired. And would be doing other stuff in the meantime. So, it would just be, it's just sort of an actor's life. The ones who get into jobs for, 15 or 20 seasons, that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
For the most part, when you're an actor, you go from one job to the next, and you have a little tiny part in one TV episode, and then you've got a big feature film. It's for a play.
Yeah.
It's whatever comes along, and you really do never get tired of it.
Yeah, yeah. So Moonlighting, obviously, it's just they've released the run of the series. It's on Max. And so I when they made it known that it was going to be on, I sat down and was watching a number of episodes. It holds up very well. But you were part of something, and you've had this happen a number of times in your career where it becomes the it thing. And you had, that was Bruce Willis, his debut to the public, basically. Sybil Shepherd sort of redefining. She had obviously had accolades with like Last Picture Show and all that stuff. But as in this kind of role, a different turn. And you're part of it, but throughout the series, it was always sort of dealing with controversy, and there was always sort of internal battles going on. When you're there just doing your job and performing phenomenally well, your character was very popular. It's got to be a double-edged sword, is it not?
Well, I mean, that was a bit of there were conflicts, between Bruce and Sybil and so on. But, I mean, for the most part, I tried to keep my head down and do my job along with, I was with Elise Beasley most of the time. So that was pretty easy, actually. That part of it was pretty easy. But it was, it was the first time I'd been on a big, expensive network show that ran for a long time with a couple of very charismatic leading people on it. And so it was an education, I'll tell you. But very different, for example, from what happened with the Supernatural later on with Justin and those guys had been on at that point 9 years or something.
Yeah.
They, were as happy as apparently and contented as could be. It was a very different situation, very calm, very easy. Really no conflicts at all.
Curtis, reading the section on moonlighting, you go into some detail, quite a bit between the dynamic of Bruce and Cheryl and Sybil, and the childishness that was expressed between their disdain for each other is it's a bit jaw dropping when I was encountering this through your words. But is that rare? Is it semi-common? Is it?
It's happened maybe 2 or 3 times in my career that I've worked on shows where that kind of stuff has gone on.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it would only be based on my own experience. Not that often. A lot of times people are very, very happy to be working.
I just don't know how people can work together and have that. I mean, I'm sure it happens in any industry, but to where you're using emotions and things like that to convey, this story, and you just absolutely hate that person.
And the show's a hit.
With. And it's a hit.
Yeah, and it's a hit, and and their skill was such that even though you were hearing all these stories in the press. When you saw them on screen together, the chemistry was just, people had a very hard time grasping that these two people didn't care for one another that much.
Right.
Because they appeared, it was an ideal teaming on the surface. It was just what was going on while they were doing it. And as you say, that happens on in a lot of jobs, not just in acting.
Right.
Where, you have to work with somebody that you don't like and you do a good job, but that doesn't make you like them anymore.
Yeah.
Curtis, this is Nick. I went to college for a long time. I was not a great college student, and there were 2 quotes.
You're no dummy.
Well, there were 2 quotes that people used as a comedic relief. The first was from Tommy Boy. A lot of people go to college for 7 years, and then the response is, "Yeah, they're doctors." And the second is from you, from Better Off Dead. I've been going to this school for 7.5 years. I'm no dummy. And so when I just wanted to thank you for providing some comic relief to my otherwise painful college career.
Well, you can, that's a thank you that goes to Savage Steve. That was his line. So, but yeah, it was, it's one of the ones. Definitely Better Off Dead is one of those movies that has stayed with people for various reasons, and it's one of my favorites.
I'll definitely ask for a couple of anecdotal things from the book, if you don't mind, Curtis. But you did mention that Savage Steve and he was the director, had let you and John do some improvising. I think it was when you were on the K-12 and that, I guess, I don't know if when you were snorting the snow, I don't know if you came up with that, but some of those lines were stuff that you guys just ran off the cuff.
Yeah, not that. That was in the script, but he always did that. Savage did. Was always asking his actors to improvise. It was his method of working.
Okay.
That he would hire people that he felt comfortable, who would feel comfortable with the idea of improving. which I, by the way, never was, and I wasn't very good at it.
Really?
Yeah, not at all. So there are a few things, I suppose, but I don't remember which ones that I came up with. But a lot of what is memorable was on the page.
In Revenge of the Nerds, and this is a story I wanted to share because this one had me howling out loud while I was listening to the audiobook. If you're just tuning in, by the way, it's Curtis Armstrong. Revenge of the Nerd is a book. It's 6 years old, but it's so worth getting. You're telling the story of the party sequence that the Tri-Lambs are having. And there's a shot, and I showed it to Nick the other day, and I explained him the story behind this. There's a shot of Timothy Busfield, who's playing Poindexter, and he's smoking a joint, and he just sits there and he just goes, nothing. And then he starts cracking up laughing. Can you, and this is what you guys were improvising this stuff. Can you please share the story with how that came about?
That was, oh boy, you're asking me now.
It was
that came out of a party.
Yes.
I think it was a party where one of the actors on the show had come in. We were in John Goodman's room, and there was a joint being passed.
And if you don't mind me saying, you had said the actor was Ted McGinley.
Yeah, that's right. And we had a joint, and Ted was saying, well, he was sort of passing on it because he didn't smoke, and Tim was going, oh, he couldn't believe Ted had never smoked dope.
Yeah.
It's the 80s, right? And so he finally talked him into trying it, and Ted tried, took a hit off the joint and was sitting there and going, nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
There must be something wrong with it. It must be weak. I don't know. It's just not. And he kept going on like that until it suddenly hit him.
Yeah.
And he started howling.
Yeah.
And Tim used that from that experience on the set.
I loved it. I love it. It's such a great scene, and the fact that it came directly as a result of a party that was taking place.
A party, which all of those movies, there tended to be a fair amount of partying going on at the time. We were young, and at the time,
and
it was sort of what you did. And also, in those days, they used to bring you in for the entire shoot, 11 weeks, so you had tons of time off. Now, they'll schedule it so they bring you in for whatever days you're shooting, get you in and out. But in those days, we tended to be in wherever we were for a long stretch of time.
You had indicated that John Goodman was the undisputed champion of partying on Revenge of the Nerds.
He was just it was a great character. I mean, he was a great character, is a great character, I assume. But at the time, he was the Lord of Misrule. That's the way we thought of him, and we were all big, huge fans of his anyway. So we would just hang out in his room all the time.
In the early 90s, I was in a strip club in East St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm in there with my friends, and I see this guy come out of a door from behind the bar. He was behind the bar with a stripper piggyback behind him. He goes out of one door, runs through the bar, and then goes to another door. And I turned to my friend and I was like, that was John Goodman. I swear to God.
Well, he had started out with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I can't remember the story now, but they started out at a bar in New York. I mean, just doing, bartending and stuff like that. But at the same place when Bruce was just first starting out. Okay. So,
Yeah, he knew how to party.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yep. You mentioned Supernatural, which I loved, and there was one I remember clearly. There was a point where the series was supposed to wrap up, and it was so popular that they extended it, kept going, and you played a great character, Metatron, and we just heard recently that Mark Shepard from the cast had multiple heart attacks, and is doing well now, thankfully, but that whole experience, that show that would not would die. The fan base for Supernatural is very
it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the most amazingly committed and loyal fan base. It's remarkable, and it's ongoing, even though the show is now long gone. These people still get together for conventions and just have a wonderful time. And they sort of hated me.
Well, yeah.
The only ones I ever went to those cons were when I was still being very, very bad on the show. And they were the fans were very protective of the boys. And they didn't like the fact that I was, whatever it was I was doing, stealing their grace or whatever. But then when I sacrificed myself at the end for the universe, for the good of the universe, and proved myself to be a good angel, then they all sort of
all is forgiven. Right?
Yeah, but at that point I was off the show, so it didn't make any difference anymore. But
when you were encountered Curtis, and obviously you were in Rain, you've been many roles, and all substantive and a lot of gravitas. What do most people assume you're going to be? Is it in fact a hybrid of Booger?
Yeah, it's Booger or Charles DeMar, one of those characters. I think at this point it's not so much anymore, but certainly in the 80s and 90s, everybody was sort of looking at me with an anticipatory smile, waiting for me to belch or say something disgusting,
Yeah.
And it was the opposite of who I was as a person or am as a person, and there was always just the faintest disappointment that I wasn't more outrageous, because it just became so connected with me.
Curtis, at what point in your life, and we've seen this with many people who have a character associated with them or a series of characters associated with them personally, at what point did you realize that, okay, I should embrace the fact that people think I'm Booger, or something along those lines? Was there a point in your life, was there a moment, or did it slowly come upon you?
I guess it slowly did. I'm not sure if there was any moment where I had a sort of lightning bolt of realizing that. I just realized that I was lucky that I owed Booger, a debt of gratitude, because even though he was disgusting and he had nothing to do with me, I was able to realize that it was a fairly accomplished bit of acting because it was so different from who I was.
Okay.
It's not like you're playing yourself. You're playing someone totally different and doing it effectively. So, I am always, when I look back on those early films, with great gratitude that I had them, because they were the reason that I'm still working today.
Well, if you stop and think about it, and we've seen it happen, and we love talking to these actors and writers and directors who are part, as are you, of these movies that were sort of seminal, in the 80s and sort of set in motion different types of comedy and different sensibilities. And while they, in the beginning, I remember they would come out and they might be sort of dismissed by the critics, but now they are now firmly part of pop culture lore and legend. And what you have is a number, take Quentin Tarantino, for example, who is influenced by what he was watching in the 70s. You're having people come, around and say, no, these guys were great. Curtis was great. These things had merit, and it's got to be fulfilling to you to see something that you put your blood and sweat into, see it finally come into its own.
Well, I don't think it ever really, nerds especially, and Better Off Dead, I don't think they were ever really embraced by critics. Even in retrospect, when you see, lists of the best movies of the 80s and so on, usually a critic will not put either of those on there. You know, it'll always be the John Hughes movies or, you know, something like that. But as far as generations of people, I mean, we're starting into the third generation of people who are watching these movies since they came out. And it is incredibly gratifying to see, you know, as I've been at cons or just, you know, in a bar, and I had somebody tell me that, you know, his father used to watch Revenge of the Nerds with him. And, you know, has passed away recently, and it always reminds him of the times that they spent watching these movies together. That's pretty... It can be kind of emotional, you know, to know that something that silly had that kind of an effect on people that many years later. Yeah, it's great.
Curtis, you turned 70 this year.
I did.
And wherein is your career and what you would like to achieve at 70, assessing that now?
Yeah, I mean, I did a feature this year. I did a dramatic podcast with Dominic Monaghan. This year I did a bunch of voice stuff. I'm still doing things, you know, and I'm living in New York now. I moved out of LA. I'm back in New York. I might do some stage work. I would love to do some stage work again. I don't know. You know, it's been a good run. I'll keep working as long as there's work.
So you're just kind of doing what you want to do.
What you've always done.
Yeah. That's great. We can all only hope to have that.
Yes. A life of booger.
Most definitely. Well, Curtis, thank you so much for coming on. It was timely that the Moonlighting is now available on MASH. You can watch the whole thing. But again, it took me 6 years before I picked the book back up. But I highly recommend it. It is very entertaining.
Thanks so much.
And your narration is wonderful. I absolutely love it. You can clearly tell that you've been a theater actor for a long, long time, and how you do deliver the book. It's very well done. Any thoughts of, and I know you're a voracious reader, any thoughts of writing more at any point?
I've thought about it, and now would be the time. And actually, I just got the rights to the book back from St. Martin's Press. So I may do something else with that. You know, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
Well, you can have
This year was kind of crazy because of the move and, you know, change of everything, and now I'm sort of focusing on next year.
Well, you can have every confidence that whatever you release this year, we'll recommend in 6 years.
Yeah, so that's what we do. Yeah,
absolutely.
But the audio book you can get. I got it on Audible. You can get it, you know, through all of those platforms. But it's called Revenge of the Nerd. The Singular Adventures of the Man Who Would Be Booger. It's an awesome read. It's going to be a great gift if anybody loved any of the movies that Curtis was involved in and TV shows. So, listen, Kurt, thank you so much. We appreciate it. It was very nice to talk to you.
I appreciate it, too. It was nice talking to you. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Curtis Armstrong. I'm enjoying it. I've got just a little bit left to go, and can't wait to see how the whole thing wraps up.
I mean, that's, you know, you want to get those peeks behind things that you love that sat in the, you know, like, again, you know, it just lets you re-experience it again, you know, and then, and also sometimes you'll hear something that you're like, oh, I wish I didn't know that, but it's part of the deal, you know.
The stories of Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, they just, oh man, did they hate each other. He had a front row seat for it.
I remember when it was going on. It was very tumultuous. It was, and you've listened to the book and you probably have a lot more insight, but there was, you know, there would be times when they would be delivering their lines to no one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quite often.
It was silly how bad it got. But and some interesting stories about how those movies that we love came about and how they almost never happened, or how certain characters got their traits and stuff. It's really cool.
You wonder if in retrospect, it's a lesson as when you go through all this stuff. What was all that worth?
Yeah.
What was all that worth?
All right, let's take a break, but let's give away a miracle. What? Yes, you can join us for.
Oh, it's a Christmas miracle.
Oh, and by the way, that clip is from Better Off Dead, which he is in. So let's take caller number 10. If you can make it to the Christmas Miracle on Wednesday morning, we want you there. We got lots of stuff to give away. We're headed to the Colonial Theater in Phoenixville, 215-263-WMMR. We're going to come back and we're going to get Nimesh Patel on. Stay with us. We'll be, we'll hit this now.
93.3 WMMR.
I'm pretty easygoing. I mean, I have like a tour bus, so I don't have to fly a lot.
You have a tour bus?
Yeah, and people think it's like wild, but it's really not. Like we go to like Whole Foods, and then like I'm trying not to like drink on this tour. I drank on the last tour, and it was just the wheels came off horrendously. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Do you self-impose? Because my wife will sometimes do that. Just say, and not she's not an alcoholic or anything. She just I just want to take a month or two and just take a break.
I'll go hard for like 5 years, and then I'll take like a month off. And it really helps. It really helps.
5 years, 1 month, 5 years, 1 month.
It's all about the balance. You know what I mean?
Great to see you, man. Thanks for being
cheers,
here.
guys.
That is Nick Swartz. I had sex yesterday.
What?
I did. It was a wonderful experience. We had a window.
Oh, very good. People see through it?
It's very rare. Yes, of course.
I was watching the whole time.
Our next door neighbors.
Press, we're really enjoying it. Keep going.
Steve and Karina, hope you guys enjoyed that. No, it was nice. And when you've got essentially 5 grown people living in the same house, it's tough to find opportunities to do that. So I relish it when it happens. But there was an article that Steve had sent to me last week that I didn't get a chance to get to. And it's 7 things that men wish women would do the first time they have sex. But it's also 7 things that women wish men would do the first time.
So you're getting some assistance here, and I think at least one of them in both lists is do it by an open window.
I think so. So you want me to start with what the ladies would like?
I think that's the most interesting. Yes.
Ladies first?
Yeah. Let's go that way.
Okay, so this is according to this article, and number 1 on the list is give lots of compliments at the start.
Way to go! That's my girl.
Even if it, and listen to the example here, even if it's a mumbled, perfect breasts.
Oh my God! Wait, what? Wait,
or.
There's no way.
What?
No!
What did I miss?
I get it. Just that.
Oh, grody.
That's like Casey's.
Well, that was more of a reaction than I thought.
Oh, God.
Your knockers. Not your knockers, your breasts. Your breasts are like melons. Not melons, like pillows. Can I fluff your pillows?
Oh, my God.
Or your breasts are perfect. Or your skin feels so soft.
Okay,
that one's
that's
okay,
all
right?
Yeah.
I want to turn it into a coat.
Well,
Ed Gein? No, make some acknowledgement of the fact that you're thrilled that you finally got your hands on our body. This is according to women.
I've been waiting to feel you up for years.
Even if you don't think we're a 10 and don't need to be told it, tell us anyway.
When you were our babysitter, I so wanted to feel you up, but now you're of age.
It says there's nothing sexier than a lover looking at you up and down, then straight into the eye and saying, "My God," in a strangled, overcome voice.
I think it's just because it's coming from you, maybe. I'm not.
That's weird.
Let me ask you, Kathy, and Marissa, so we have you both in. Wait a minute.
Thanks.
And is there, do you like being talked to a lot during?
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
Kathy, shut up.
Yeah, totally.
Get it over.
Shut up.
Stop bothering
Yeah.
Close your eyes.
Make your deposit and shut up.
By the way, I want to try this. It says, try saying "my God" in a strangled, overcome voice. So let me try that.
God.
My God. Oh, my God.
Oh my God.
She says it's daunting being naked in front of someone for the first time. Knowing you think we look great helps us relax into it. Okay. All right, number 2 on this list is the things that 7 things that women hope for the first time you have sex with them. Show us how much you want us.
Oh, okay.
It says a bit of caveman is a good thing.
I did a pie chart presentation here, if you don't mind. If you notice in the first graph, the overlapping colors depict how much I want you.
No, it says a bit of caveman is a good thing.
This is terrible.
It says this doesn't mean pushing us back on the bed, unzipping yourself and going for it.
No.
That we don't want. But being too tentative is an equal turnoff.
Yeah.
So you
I
have
can
to-
see that.
You want to be a man, but you don't want to be over.
You have to be
overzealous.
a polite caveman.
Right.
Would it be okay if I jumped on you?
Grog-like. All right, and then number 3 on this list says, once our consent has been given, go for it.
Well,
it says, undress us like we're the most longed-for present you've ever wanted.
A PlayStation!
Just thinking those 2 little kids in front of the Christmas tree.
Just ripping their clothes off.
That's exactly what I wanted!
It says, let your eyes and fingers trail over every part. Let us see naked lust in your eyes.
Would you just get this over with?
Grab a handful of hair and pull it.
Oh my God. That's my pubic hair.
Grab our face and kiss us hard. Let me grab your face.
What are you doing?
I'm tugging on your ears.
You're hurting me. I can't breathe. I know you're holding. Listen, stop it. Relax.
All right. Number 4 on this list, it says, give us lots.
Locks?
No, I'm sorry. Kiss us lots.
There's some locks here. Here's a schmear.
No, kiss us lots. Soft kisses on the lips. Deep kisses with an occasional tongue darting in and out. Nibbles and bites on the neck.
All right, so let me ask you guys, and we've heard this said in a number of surveys, that those little aspects of affection are actually more desirable in the long run. The gentle stroking, massaging and kisses, and that romantic side of it is more what is preferred. Is that correct? I pose it to you two.
I don't know. This is all disgusting. Hearing
Oh
it
my
from you guys.
God. It all depends on the person. I'm going to speak up for the ladies.
Yeah, no, it does.
Some people, you need to have communication when you
I love a neck kiss. If
Okay.
that's where you're going for,
Okay,
Steve.
yeah.
But like too soft.
That's a big turn on.
Nah,
Yeah.
you need to, like-
What about darting tongues and that strangled voice?
Darting tongues. That's where I draw a line.
Steve.
What are you saying? I don't like that sound.
You had darting tongues one time, right?
Darting tongues?
Or licking tongues.
I mean,
they
licked
lick
my
your
face.
face.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right in front of you, too.
You had a face licker in front of Kathy?
It was a joke.
Oh,
But we were like at an appearance. We were like Questlove was DJing. We were
I don't
hosting a party.
Stop it, I just put my makeup on.
All right, it says women love kissing, so don't rush through it. And to get to the main event, for you, that's intercourse. Foreplay is the best part for us.
Is it really the best part, though?
I don't know.
For you? I'm asking the ladies.
It depends on who you're talking to. That's the thing.
Just get it done. Get it done. And stop with the darting tongue and no pooper.
Kathy, we need a shirt for you that just says off me. Off me.
Now.
Off me. All right, number 5, give great oral.
You still owe me another month's rent. So if I were you, I would start doing some tongue exercises before Friday.
Oh, my
That's Kingpin.
Kingpin?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Dude.
She's great.
We need to isolate that.
Yep, we have it.
Just one more time.
God, she's awesome.
I'm not even going to go into the details of that particular.
You know it is, yeah.
To that particular.
Using your mouth to provide pleasure.
Yeah, but it goes into some detail, and I'm not going to go into that right now.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
Okay, number 6
I was going to say
says.
that some men need that detail, so look it up if you need it.
Yes, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and ask. Feel free to ask what they prefer. I think anyway. Like, do you like it when I do that? Yeah. When I go like this?
Like there's.
What is it about good?
Oh, I thought you were queuing that one up again.
It's still good.
All right, so here's another one.
Yeah.
And I think we agree on this. The ladies say, let us finish first.
Yes.
By finish, you know what I mean.
Yes.
Everyone knows the second he's done, sex is done. It's polite and it's logical. Men usually save their last moment for intercourse.
Yeah.
It's the finale. I mean, the confetti comes out, you know.
Yeah. But it also says, but don't stress if we don't.
That's right.
If we end up not having that happen.
You, men?
Yeah. No. Women. Don't
not finish.
Don't stress. I'm reading the article from a woman's perspective.
Okay.
Don't stress if the woman doesn't complete.
It would probably help if you said it with a woman's voice. So
I don't have the thing.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I didn't finish. I didn't like it, and I wanted you off me all the time. But you're the king.
Oh my God.
You're the best, Rubber Johnny.
Casey almost spit coffee out.
Rubber Johnny.
That's his name.
Rubber Johnny. That character that Steve was playing.
Oh, Rubber Johnny. Oh, yeah. Oh,
It's from a song.
Oh, you're the king. You're the king. All right. Now I'm going to Floral and Hardy.
It's saying that if the woman does not complete, you don't have to freak out about it. So that's just what this particular article says.
Just don't give up too quickly.
Oh no! You want to listen? Yes,
you can go get tools.
Yeah, you can work really, really hard.
I need a new drill bit.
But at some point, we know where Marissa's priority is.
Oh, I'm just speaking for the women that Kathy's not representing.
Thank you.
But if she says, "Hey, we tried. Let's move on,"
yeah,
then you got to move on.
Then one last thing. It says what women.
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you, Kathy. A lot going on, obviously, this morning.
I mean, you should see Kathy's screen. I can always tell what the traffic is like because if it's all in black, it's all bad.
Yes.
Wow. All right, well, we're welcoming our next guest who's going to be in town next Thursday, December 28th. He's playing a gig at the Met in Philly. He's a great comedic writer and performer. In fact, named one of Variety's 10 comics to watch. 2023, as well as Vulture's Comedians You Should Know and Will Know in 2023.
Yes.
His Netflix set just premiered on November 28th. Please welcome Nimesh Patel to our show.
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing, Nimesh?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Just glad you're not driving in that crap Kathy was talking about, right?
I love the reports. Hey, everything's flooded. Get some cheese.
That's basically it.
I'll be happy with just a nice slab of cheese in front of me.
It really takes the sting out of bad traffic.
Yeah.
Well, you're living in New York now, right? That's where you pretty much
I'm in Brooklyn, yeah.
Brooklyn, right? And I was reading about you. I love the history, and I just want to pick up on one point. I did stand up years ago, and your first times on stage were very nostalgic for me because it reminded me of my experience. First time up, I did really well. Second time up, bombed. But it was the second time that sort of made me say, I can do this because it's not so bad to bomb, and I think I can get through it. Am I kind of getting your experience correct?
That's exactly right, except the first time I did it, I had 16 first cousins come out, so I kind of stacked the deck.
You stacked the deck. Yeah. But it's interesting how you respond that way. You kind of say, okay, I can get over this hump. But you're from New Jersey, right? You were born in Jersey.
Born and bred in New Jersey. I've lived in New York for 20 years. I got some family in Philly, so I can't insult it the way a normal New Jersey.
You run the risk, yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fascinating. Your father opened up a liquor store in a bad area, and apparently robbed and shot at a number of times. How bad was it where he was? And
I mean, the store was in Irvington, New Jersey. If you're not familiar with Irvington, there was a blood gang on one side, Crip gang on the other. Only thing they had in common is that they both tried to rob my father. So, I grew up bringing people together and try to carry that tradition on today.
So when obviously you're doing stand up, and we know you for, obviously you as Preston mentioned, with the accolades, you were writing for Chris Rock, and Chris Rock came in to a club one night you were performing in. Was it a show you and your friends had put together as sort of a showcase?
Yeah, my friend Michael Che of SNL fame, and our friend Mike Denny of Griselda fame. We used to run a show together. 2015, Chris Rock came in. I had to go up. Told a joke that no one else laughed at, but I remember Chris laughing. I had one of these old school blackout sets. Next thing you know, I'm in Los Angeles writing for him for the Oscars in 2016.
So did you make mental note of where he was sitting so you could identify him as a laugher, or was it just his laugh? So
no, his laugh is very distinct. I'm sure you all know. I can't imitate it, but if you hear Chris Rock laughing, it's either very good or very bad. And luckily it was a very good thing.
So you've done a couple things that are kind of, I think, milestones, or at least really sort of iconic for comedy writers. Writing for jokes for the Oscars. And obviously for Chris Rock, when you're doing that and you're writing the material, what percentage of what you wrote actually ended up being said? And when it was said, did you do a backflip?
I wrote one thing that Chris said, and that got cut for time from the Oscars, but he said it like a bunch of times that when we were running the set. I said, "Acting's not brave. Brave is drinking a glass of water in Flint, Michigan," and that got a lot of laughs. And that was a very Chris Rock thing for him to say. He punched it up and said drinking Kool-Aid in Flint, Michigan. But regardless, it was like the greatest. I put that on my tombstone when I die. Chris Rock said something I said.
We've talked to a few people who've done that sort of writing backstage or writing on the spur of the moment, so I assume you were able to attend that night as well, right? Because he would have his staff back there with him.
Oh yeah, I was at the Oscars. We were all in the basement drinking tequila, watching Chris destroy. And I thought, that night, okay, here comes fame and fortune. The very next night, I'm eating like dollar pizza, waiting to do an open mic at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. It was a whirlwind, very humbling experience.
It is kind of weird how, you talk about, and we've talked to enough people to know that, and I had it in my life. I thought, okay, this is it. The switch has been flicked, and now we're good, and I guess I'm good to go, only to have the reality of my stupidity come crashing in on me. So when that happens, are you a resilient person by nature, or did you have to have a come to Jesus moment?
I had nothing else going on, guys.
You had nothing going on.
That'll keep you on the path when really there are no other paths.
Well, you said you're friends with besties with Michael Che, who's terrific, and so is he your entree into SNL?
Yeah, I mean, he's the reason I got the job. He was like, "Hey, man, I need some help writing on Weekend Update." And when he became I think the second year was there, and it was. Again, one of these Harvard of comedy situations. Everyone is super funny. Everyone's hanging out. Everyone's like crushing it, and just trying to keep up with the deluge that was Donald Trump at the time.
Right. So the update, and when you stop and think about it, the update has changed over the course of the years.
Yep.
It sits squarely in the middle of the show. It is a huge chunk of the show. And we are perpetually fascinated with where SNL sits in entertainment history and pop culture history. But I mean, so you're on the front battle lines when you're writing for Update. How we've heard it always described as unbelievably stressful and then some. How was it?
It was stressful, but only because at the helm of the country was Donald Trump, and every week it was like drinking from a fire hose.
Right.
Like. Monday, he had sex with a porn star. Friday, he was throwing paper towels at Puerto Ricans. So it was like, what do we make fun of?
What do you cut out?
Yeah.
So what kind of hours do you pull when you're, because we've always heard that a lot of the main writing goes on like in the wee hours.
Yeah, it was burning the oil, burning the candle on both ends a lot of nights, And that was just because we were keeping up with what was going on. It was not like, let's stay late and show face. It was just like we just had to keep writing jokes and staying ahead of everything. And by the next morning, everything would be useless.
Yeah.
Because something crazy else had happened.
So, and I was reading an interview with you. You talk about how because of this and because of just that sort of grind and just in general that you were kind of forced to be a news junkie, and now you kind of hate the news.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for you did some research.
Oh yeah.
That was the breaking point for me. It was like, okay, I no longer care about what, like, the minute to minute. Everything can't be breaking news. You know, that was the thing. It was back then, and still is. Like, everything feels like, oh my God, this happened. It's every 2 minutes something was breaking news. Like, at some point it became pointless. Like, who cares about any of this? None of this is breaking news. Really, like, 3 things happen in the world at any given time.
Yeah,
everything else is just nonsense.
It's kind of interesting because you start to see it, because I know, like, years ago, I was doing this thing where I was somehow I ended up as the news guy on a station in New York in the morning, and I was kind of writing it jokingly. Obviously, I was writing it sort of weekend update-ish. That was kind of the slant, and you realized how many people were believing what you were writing, and so you kind of get a perspective on on how superficial a lot of the news is and what's making the grade and what's making the edit. And after you start to see the strings, this is what happened to you. Once you see the strings attached, you realize, forget it. I'm tapping out.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the saddest things was always like, man, reading comments and like whenever we posted the stuff on YouTube or whatever, reading comments like, "You're my only source of news." Like, no, please do not let that happen. Stop.
If you're just tuning in, it's Nimesh Patel is going to be playing the Met next Thursday on the 28th. And Nimesh, I wanted to ask about your special, Lucky Left, or I Lost My Right Nut and All I Got Was This Stupid Special. You went through testicular cancer. How long ago was that in your life?
That was February 2022. I had cancer I had my balls are on a Thursday to surgery on Tuesday. The way I say it is I had cancer for like 3 business days. The Amazon Prime of cancer.
So you're coming up on a year of when that first happened.
Almost 2, yeah.
Almost 2 years. Wow. I'm sorry. Wow. So going through that, as a comedic mind, are you always heading in that direction, especially when it comes to really heavy things that are happening in your life, to lighten it up a little bit?
I hate to say it, but it was when I got diagnosed with it, I was like so elated because I had, again, nothing else to talk about.
Oh my God!
I don't doubt that. I mean, you're obviously going to be frightened. You're like, okay, I can work with this.
Yes, but to people listening right now, do not worry. There's no more ball talk. I've stopped talking about it. The last I talked about it was in Philadelphia in March. And in the middle of talking about it, someone had a seizure in the middle of the set, and I had to stop the show.
Whoa.
And I asked if there are any doctors in the crowd, and like 30 Indian people got up, went to help the person. And I took it as a sign that, okay, maybe it's time to stop talking about the ball.
You're actually hurting people with it.
Wow. Has anything like that ever happened, a medical episode where you've had to stop in the middle of a show before?
I mean, just last week I was in Fresno, and I don't know if you know anything about Fresno, but there's not much to do but drink until you're blackout drunk.
All right.
And again, like 20 minutes into the set, like someone's getting up to go to the bathroom, and I guess they had too much to drink, and they like passed out and had to sit on the wall for like 7 minutes. And again, I asked the crowd, any doctors in the house? And again, 20 Indian people got up.
So what you're saying is one of your shows is medically the safest show you can attend.
100%. If you're going to pass out, have it be at a Nimesh Patel show. You get any kind of help you need.
Well, you were pre-med yourself, weren't you, for a while?
I was pre-med until my junior year, then I got a C+ in organic chemistry, and I decided, you know what, maybe my heart and brain are not in this. And I also graduated with a degree in finance, but I graduated in 2008 with a degree in finance, and that's probably why I can stand up.
So was obviously hardworking family. Was your decision to pursue something that might be perceived as ephemeral as comedy? Was it met with some blowback, or were you supported?
I was supported, but they also had no idea what I was getting into. If they knew how difficult it was going to be, they're like, you know what, just go to med school. Okay, that seems a lot easier than trying to tell you.
Wow.
Well, yeah, it's more expensive, but yeah. So you started when you were starting stand-up, you would work at the Stress Factory, Vinnie Brand's club?
Vinny Brand's Club, and that's the first place I ever did stand-up comedy, August 19th, 2009.
Wow.
And I remember very clearly because I brought 16 of my cousins, literally 16 of my cousins. Vinny decided he would go up before me and just roast every Indian person in the room who happened to be my cousin.
It sounds like Vinny, all right.
Yep. And then Rich Voss was also there. Voss did the same thing. Oh, it was a classic New Jersey open mic for me.
Hey, I want to ask about what writing. When you're writing, is it harder to write for yourself or for other people? So when you're writing for yourself, clearly you're writing in your voice. But when you're writing for, whether it be Weekend Update or Rock or whoever, you're writing in somebody else's voice. Is that difficult?
It's definitely a lot. It's different. At some point, you realize that you should just be writing in your voice the entire time, and then hopefully, the comic like Rock will hear a joke and be like, "Oh, okay, I understand that premise. I'm going to make it mine, my own way." And I think the best comedy minds end up doing that. That's what Che and Jost did. That's what Rock did. Anyone else I've worked with has always kind of
it's interesting
that way.
I think with Che and Jost, I feel like this happens with every Weekend Update. Like the first year of a new Weekend Update, I'm like, I don't know about these guys or these girls or guy. And then like a couple of seasons in, I'm like, I think this is my favorite Weekend Update ever. and that's how I feel about Che.
The best to ever do it. I might be biased, but those two are the best to ever do it.
I love it. And I just watched this past weekend where they gave each other their Christmas, which was completely and totally over the top. But what was interesting, though, is Kate McKinnon was the host. And as they're announcing her to come up on the stage, I'm watching with my wife, my daughter, and I go, well, hang on a second. I'm like, this is going to be weird. I don't know what Kate McKinnon's like. You know what I mean? Like every time I see her on stage or on it's a character. Yeah. And I'm like, she's actually has to speak in her own voice. And she actually said that in the very beginning of her monologue. Huh. And I was like, wow, I feel validated right now at this point.
She's also one of the greatest to ever do it. It's incredible. Like what an episode this past weekend was.
Yeah. Well, so we obviously we accept your bias, and they are very competent for Weekend Update. Obviously, who do you put in the second tier for best Weekend Update?
I'm a Norm guy, so it's kind of hard to not say Norm Macdonald. Granted, he wasn't obviously the best received for the crowds at large, but anyone that consistently digs on OJ like that, that's a
I'll tell you this, and it seems like you. So and correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously you're at the point now you're an accomplished comedian and you win the crowd over and you know how to work a room and all that stuff. But on the occasion where you have a show that goes south, can you yourself have fun in that moment as well and just enjoy that?
That's that. Like if I didn't, then I would not be enjoying a lot of shows. For sure. I think it's now I'm at a point where it's like a lot of my fans that will come out to shows, so it's always like, why are you guys here if you're not here to laugh with me? You guys know who I am. And then it's always fun trying to win over the people who are brand new, have their arms folded. And it's like, you have some issues that I cannot wait to pull out of you and make you laugh at the stuff you didn't think you were going to laugh at.
Right. Going back to, and not to bring back the testicular thing, but afterwards, when you had that going on, so it happened I had prostate cancer years ago, and a lot of people would seek me out, and I'm only too happy to do that to talk about the process and getting through and all that stuff. Did you end up becoming that sort of testicular cancer lighthouse for a lot of people?
Believe it or not a lot of dudes are okay talking about the balls.
No. More about the prostate than the balls. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So with the show here, have you ever? Is this your first time playing the Met?
Oh yeah, it's my first time playing the Met. I'm very excited.
Yeah, this is you're gonna love this room.
It's a great
You're
room.
gonna just adore it. It's acoustics and the layout. Everyone who plays it just loves it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I've done Philly a bunch of times, and it's always like people, from New Jersey and New York definitely obviously make fun of Philly. There's the rivalry there for sure, but Philly as a comedy town, it's like the perfect place. It's full of very smart people and also home to the guy that ate that horse doo-doo because the Eagles.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the full mix.
It's a dichotomy.
And listen, if you've got a relative who has a serious medical condition, bring them to Nimesh's show.
No worries.
You're going to be in great hands.
Free diagnosis.
Yeah. All right. So a week from Thursday, it's going to be on the 28th at themetphilly.com. You can get tickets. Nimesh, thanks for coming on, man. We love talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Hope to see you guys on the 28th.
All right, take care. Nimesh Patel, guys. And you can get those tickets right about now, by the way. So we have a couple of minutes left.
Yeah.
I saw this story. I thought this was pretty interesting. Barack Obama went to a classroom of young children this past week and surprised them with some Christmas gifts and story time. So he shows up. They didn't know he was coming.
Right.
The teacher had asked, held up a picture and said, "Do you know who this is?" And asked, kids to say who it was. And then he came walking in the door. It was a fun little surprise. But when he sat down to read to them, he read a children's book called Santa's Gotta Go.
No!
Oh, no kidding.
I had
Santa's Gotta Go.
Why are we unaware of this book?
Did not
have to have Bill
read it for us.
God, yes.
It's about Santa turning into a raucous house guest when he gets stranded at a family's home after his sleigh breaks down. So I don't know how long it is. I have not looked into it any further.
If it's a kid's book, it has to be.
It's got to be short,
right?
I would think so.
Especially if it's like a picture book.
And I think these were grade school children. I don't know what age they were. So if it's a short
32 pages, it looks
little
like.
kid's book, then maybe that's something we could have Bill do for us.
Yeah, you have to check the text on each page. Who Brian Regan does a great bit about writing children's kids book. The clock goes tick. Page 2.
But I thought that was funny. I had no idea.
And
I thought
Santa's Gotta Go.
Exclusively Santa's Gotta Go was
Santa's Gotta Go.
a Bill Weston thing.
Wow.
By the
We're
way,
going to have to play that at some point this week.
can we play it now?
Sure.
You know what? Why not? And
Call it audible.
I'd like to play it a few times this week. It's one of my favorite moments.
And it's an honor of Bill.
There are so many moments where you're like, oh, this is my favorite part. I really do. I always go back to the part where he breaks character and then realizes he breaks character. Then he just yells, "Hey!"
Hey, what are you talking about?
Oh, you missed.
He goes,
During Bill had set up a sort of a PowerPoint presentation. You were not here for the last staff meeting, and he hates it. He hates it.
He hates it.
Yeah.
He hates it.
Does he?
He does. He's embarrassed by it.
Oh, really?
It's fantastic. Do we have it on Vox Pro?
No, it's right here in the.
So we can't stop it along the way?
Yeah. Well, now I got to look over here.
Take a look and see.
Well, we can because I have a pause button.
Okay.
Yeah. That should pause things that way.
This is one of my favorite times. Nick.
Yeah.
This is going to bring Christmas around. For
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
All right. You ready, Case?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh. Well, hang on.
Where is it?
It's right here. Here we go.
Oh, it's in the stack.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Here. I got it.
Hello.
Hey, Santa, hi, this is Casey. I live in Broomall. You know my kids. I have Casey and Seamus and Avery, and I have Casey here. How you doing, Santa?
Well, I feel very well, thank you.
Casey had a lot of questions for me that I didn't quite have the answers to. Casey, go ahead. You want to ask him?
Is that Casey?
She's right here. She's getting a little shy, Santa.
Okay. Casey, can you hear me?
Come on. You just saw him. We just saw you, by the way, the other night. We saw you on the fire engine, Santa Claus.
Oh, yes, that was a chilly ride.
It was really cold. And
Do you have Santa on the speaker there, Casey?
I have Santa on the speaker.
Well, it's so nice to talk to you. I'm getting very excited for next week.
She wanted to thank. I'm sorry, Santa. She wanted to thank you for the candy canes that you gave her the other day.
Well, hopefully she brushed her teeth after she ate them.
Pause it for a second. He's so great in this.
He's doing a great job. By the way,
Playing along, he just jumps right in.
This was the thing for a while where people were kind of doing this, and they would ask if they would arrange it.
Yeah.
You would not.
Yeah. Bill was blindsided.
Bill's blindsided, and he's not even thinking. You're calling your boss?
Yeah.
He goes right into it.
But he accommodates.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
She had some specific questions for you. She wanted to know if the elves are your kids.
No, they're not my personal children, but I treat them like my children. They're very, very helpful at the North Pole, though.
Do you have kids? Because we caught the movie Fred Claus the other day, so she wanted to know if you had any kids.
Are you putting me on? Hey, what's going on? Hey! Fred Claus, wasn't that awful movie with Billy Bob Thornton?
No, that's Bad Santa. Fred Claus is with Vince Vaughn.
Okay. Well, that's...
End scene. Oh, what the hell? What are you? What are you being, some kind of dickhead? Oh, I'm back. I'm Santa's on medication.
All right.
I was concerned that you were showing your daughter bad Santa movies.
No, I was flipping through the channels, and we usually watch Nickelodeon Santa.
Oh,
And,
that's a good thing.
She saw the Santa Claus hat, and we had to stop for a second. So, all right.
Well, I'm very excited to visit the Fodder household on Christmas Eve. And Casey, you be a good little child, and we'll see what Santa leaves for you under the tree.
Casey wanted to know what your she wanted to know what your wife's name was.
It's Mrs. Claus.
See, that's what I told her, Santa. But she was like, no, she's got to have a first name.
Well, I think some people call her Annabelle, but I only called her Mrs. Claus. That's how we refer to each other.
All right, thanks, Bill.
You were recording that.
What?
Huh?
Recording what? I'm with my daughter. Say hi, Casey.
What? Dude, I gotta go. I don't know what the hell you were expecting me. Santa's gotta go.
And ladies and gentlemen, like clockwork, he comes walking in. Do we have his theme song? Yes. Man About Town, Santa Weston is here with us. Bill Claus.
I just got to work. I turned on my radio, and I go, I can't believe they're doing it again.
Every year.
now
we will
it's a
play this
tribute.
every year until we're dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just hear how smart ass Casey's voice sounds like. You know, digging every question, no one's coming. And me like, is this a put on? It's like, well, if his kid's listening, I don't want to spoil it. What's going on? It's like, I think it's the need to eat pizza thing. It's uncomfortable hearing it every year. I hate that Annabelle drop.
Oh, dude, listen, for years,
Annabelle.
I don't know how long it was you sat on the been come to known as audio.
my God. Yeah.
Like, I was so embarrassed by it when it happened.
This one.
And is there some of the, just improv that you have been come to known as? Casey sat on it and let me cool off for a couple of years before we ever played that again. So I know what you're feeling. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
We have the Eric Lindros calling my phone. Phone.
Yeah.
Everything.
You just got to embrace it and just know that people love it.
Oh, my God.
And they love you for it.
I love it, man.
Billy Bob Thornton. I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right. Well, Bill, hang on one second. Here we go.
Yeah.
I never thought Eric Lindros would be calling my phone.
Yeah.
Phone.
Was that real, or is that Casey trying to be stupid?
No, that was him
No,
being
I don't have
real.
to try.
Okay.
Around the same age, so
All right.
that's what it was.
So, and by the way, Bill's going to be joining us at the Christmas Miracle.
Yes, and it'll be a chance for people to kind of say how much they've appreciated all you've done for MMR and for us and for their entertainment in general all these years.
Just give me an associate producer credit at the end of the show.
Done. All right, there he goes. Bill Weston, Man About Town, is doing his little saunter out of the studio. Oh, my God. Kathy, you're right. That will never, ever get old to me.
I get the cringe feeling, but
Oh, yeah.
it is it's so good.
Yeah, we'll play that a few more times before we take a break this week.
Like you say, you're sitting on this NBC 10 thing that you have of this that you refused, that your friend said never give it to them. Never give it to them.
I should.
There was another Preston clip that we haven't played yet that I sat on for a little while.
Is today the day? Do you want to see?
You know what? I don't want to build it up too much.
I think I know what it is.
Well, okay, what is it?
Take a guess.
Was it from A League of Their Own? No. When I sang instead of Irish ones and Swedes, I said Africans and Swedes.
No.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
But that we all kind of laughed
You have
at that.
another one of me?
Yeah, but I don't know.
God.
Well, then
I wish I could remember what it
you'll
was.
know. You'll know it's the right time because you'll feel it's the right time. If your instinct says that you're on the fence about this, you got to let it
he
breathe a little
can't
bit.
find. He doesn't know how to search it. 'Cause he can't remember what it is.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what it was. I don't. Yeah, and it's not even here. So I could have.
Oh, damn the luck.
Oh, son of a gun.
Son of a gun.
All right.
All right. Should I talk about something else, or should we take a break? What do you think?
I think. What Case? What do you say?
I mean,
what
we
do
do.
you say?
We have a little bit of time.
We have a little bit of time.
Steve sent me this. Hey, Preston. Casey says we have a little bit of time. No, I wanted to mention this because I know that Kathy ran something about it in the news the other day. But if you were going out to buy gift cards, if you were not aware of the scam going on, just a heads up on this. And this is how it works. The scammers they will take gift cards from stores and sometimes like hundreds at a time. Then they will make a note of the card number as well as the PIN or activation code, and then they'll put them back on the store shelves. And right then they're useless, but somebody's going to buy them. They're going to put money on them for the credit, and once you do that, the card can be activated. And they know that people aren't going to activate it until after Christmas.
Right.
So they are cashing in on them now. Now, how they know when they're available and loaded, I'm not really sure. I guess they just have to go back and keep checking the numbers.
And they might have a piece of software that is sort of scouring the numbers that they've gotten that just keeps repeating the checking process.
Yeah.
Whatever, they're doing it, and they're doing it incredibly effectively.
So, and what happens is when that person that you gave the gift card to goes to use it, there'll be zero credit on it. Bupkis. A recent Better Business Bureau study found reports of gift card scams have increased by about 50% this year alone. Criminals are using a variety of tactics to dupe the shoppers. In some cases, fraudsters are even subtly opening the sealed envelopes cards are stored in and then cutting off and keeping part of the card with the activation code on it. They're also putting the cut card back into the envelope with the barcode still visible for the teller to scan and add funds, which they can then steal. So they've got a couple of different methods, and Target is one of the places, but a lot of Walmart, a lot of these stores are being ripped off.
So the response or the way to protect yourself is what Kathy actually mentioned last week. As I read a couple articles about this. Order the cards from the company. Don't pull them off the rack.
Okay.
Amazon will send you gift cards,
right?
Which you can immediately put into your personal account, and you do that. But if you want to get a gift card the thing with gift cards is that they're quick. Let me just grab it.
Yeah.
Let me just get it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's something to hand the person.
It's something to hand the person.
Yeah.
So, but if you're going to do it, and a lot of times what you can do is if you can get the gift card, you can also get an e-gift card, so that they'll just simply send the person the notification.
Right,
and it can be transacted the same way. A lot of I think Microsoft for Xbox I think offers something similar to that. But check out and see if that's an available thing.
Right,
because that way you're not. It's not something that's been sitting up on a rack that someone could pilfer the way these guys are doing it.
My son went to a birthday party recently, and 3 of the people attending the party as gifts gave the kid whose birthday it was gave him $25 gift cards to Wawa. And
Right.
it was like it's a great and easy and terrific gift. I've said this. I think I've said this before in the air, but whenever I get a gift card as a present for anything, I try to use it right away because otherwise, if I don't, it just ends up in the drawer or I end up losing it.
You forget it. Yeah.
Casey gave me one for REI a year or two ago, and it was a terrific present. It was really nice of him. But I remember I lost it, and then I was actually doing some shopping for REI, and I was like, I can't find the damn card.
Where is that?
And eventually, I tracked it down and was able to use
Right
it.
next to your Tweeter gift card.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
I would imagine
this Blockbuster gift card.
I would imagine places like you mentioned Wawa because they have gift cards there too. Something that's there's a lot of people coming in and out.
Yeah.
There's not much room in there. Those might be tougher to scam.
I would think because they do sell other. I don't know if Wawa does it. 7-Eleven, I know does it where they'll sell like.
Oh yeah, they have things like Cabela's and Cracker Barrel,
a whole bunch of stuff,
all that stuff.
I think and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm probably wrong. It's my modus operandi. That when you buy that way, you're somehow in the transaction you're not getting the full value of the card.
If
maybe
what?
if you buy a gift card that you're not getting full.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somehow or another, there's some money lost.
And I don't think this is it can't be illegal if they're doing it. But Nick, what you were talking about trying to use that gift card right away. We went and grabbed some gift cards because we have in our China cabinet. We have a bunch of them, and I grabbed them, and we were reading the back of it, and they take 2 cents off a year. At these stores. It's not like a Visa gift card or anything. Right? Like they shouldn't be able to do that, but until
it should be reimbursable for the exact price you paid for that card.
Yeah.
By the way, you have a china cabinet?
Yeah.
Oh,
don't we all?
No.
No?
No. I used to associate that as like with grandmothers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, we don't have one.
No, it's.
And you display your china?
Yeah, the china that we've never used since the day we got it.
Well, it's all dusty. That's in a box on the inside, the side of my basement.
That was our growing up. We had a china cabinet, and is there any plan to ever eat off that, Mom?
I know. Same
China
thing.
cabinet and a buffet.
And a buffet. Wait, what's the buffet?
A buffet is like a china cabinet that doesn't have cabinets.
It's right next to your dick fur.
Yeah. A buffet, it's just it's like a table with drawers and
and such.
Do you keep anything in it?
Bagels
and such.
Oh, we should have a bagel cabinet.
Yeah,
that's my bagel cabinet. But Nick, they're mounted the way you'd mount guns and handguns. That's an everything.
An everything bagel. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a bread
She's
box?
a beaut.
I got to everything bagels at the Acme last week, and I found out that I'm the only one in the household that eats them because my fiance asked about bagels that we had, and I was like, "Yeah, we got plenty of everything bagels." She's like, "Oh, those are all you." And now I think every time I go to the grocery store, I'm just going to buy everything.
Yeah.
I don't like sharing.
Then nobody will mess with your bagels.
That's right.
By the way, you take your everything bagel and you grind it on up and you use it as on your salmon and
I'm
stuff.
with you.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. So why does she not like? Is it just too much on there?
I didn't ask. Once she said I don't like them, I was like, score.
Good.
I got one for me.
Well, earlier you said you weren't exchanging Christmas gifts. Why don't you wrap up some everything bagels and put them under the tree for us?
Honey, I got you these.
It's like Casey, the kid getting the hat that only he can wear.
I feel bad because Casey has infected my brain when it comes to salmon. I had an everything bagel with a little slice of onion and lox on there, and I know that you don't like salmon, and I enjoyed it so much. I feel like I'm enjoying something that you're missing out on.
You want to convince him?
I do, and I never. It's a stupid.
And it's so funny. Like when you say you don't like something and people get offended about. Well, don't get offended. That just means there's more for you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want you to enjoy it the way that I enjoy it.
It just tastes like fish.
I got you.
That's it. Like, doesn't matter what you do to dress it up.
Are you a fish guy at all?
I am, but like the base flavor is fish. And I've had other fish where it doesn't taste as fishy. Like tuna doesn't
Not
taste
as strong.
fishy.
Do you think salmon is a fishy fish?
I feel like it is.
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to think it was way too strong of a flavor, and somewhere in my evolution, my tastes changed, and so
I don't think I could eat it if it was a fishy fish.
I had everything flavored lox on an everything flavored bagel, and man, was that
Nick,
good.
The concept of having like a salmon toast, which is a different way of preparing it, was alien to me. And then I had it down at the landing, Nick Elmy's.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing I've ever had. Oh my God!
Wait, are you done with that, sir?
I'm not finished. I'm just getting warmed up.
You're gonna pull back a bloody stump.
Give me the rest of that, please.
No, I don't think I will.
Can you call your server, please?
Jimmy!
Man's bothering me.
Hey, what happened to your salmon?
It's gone.
I love our Pacino clips. That's the best, man. Well, anyhow, yes, Casey.
No.
You look like you were going to say something. Well, be careful when you're buying the
Gift cards.
gift cards.
Yeah. Gift salmon.
Not this.
Not the
Salmon gift card.
I got you gift salmon to
I got
Cabela's.
you some salmon.
Ooh, I got gift salmon to Cabela's.
We found the Preston clip, by the way.
Oh,
all right.
no.
So, and just so you know, when it happened, I think I might have laughed and you were not happy. What ended up happening is it's at a certain point, it sounded like you became possessed. Okay? Because
I'm forgetting this one.
No, you know this one because he burped mid-word. But the burp came out of nowhere.
I do
And it
remember
just
this one.
sounds like at a certain point, a demon came in and finished his sentence for him.
No.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Boo.
He said, I could tell that his behavior was not normal. Who knows what that person might do if they have a chance to think.
Zoinks.
I did not mean to do that.
That's not it.
No, that's not it. That's not it. There's
That's
a
not
different
it.
one.
That's a good one.
Jeez,
I like that
was
one.
like-
That's a big snort.
And I could tell that slipped out like I like it. Yeah.
But you laughed at yourself immediately.
Zoinks. I did not mean to do that at all.
That's a great burp.
All right. Casey, you'll have to find the other one.
I got it.
Go to our archive.
You have it?
It's going to take a little bit.
All right, so we'll go ahead and
contact NASA
and take a quick break, and we'll get back into things. Casey.
Yeah.
No, never mind. You know what? I'll take a break. We'll come back in a second. We'll get to the B file. If you have not heard Word of the Week prize this week, we are only 4 days this week, so it's 4-lettered word, a 4-pack of tickets to Philly's hottest New Year's Eve party at Xfinity Live.
Nice.
And that comes with the full, food and beverage package as well. So make sure you collect the letters. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. Mike, for the first time that you sleep with them.
That's right. This is all under the umbrella of First
time.
Encounters.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. That actually casts a different. I wasn't keeping that in context. It's like when I play Jeopardy and I forget the category. So that changes some of my responses.
And then finally, say something nice afterwards.
You seem to be planning for the future.
It says some men clam up because they're concerned that they didn't perform well.
You know, for as small as that is, I actually enjoyed it.
And they don't want verbal confirmation. If they rave about how great it was, you might come back with a dry, well, it was for one of us. And it says, we get that, but you may need, and I should be saying this in a female voice.
Let me do it.
We get that.
Okay, baby.
But
you just say it and I'll repeat it.
We get that, but you need to understand that women operate differently. If there was a problem, talking about it helps. If it was great, talking about it makes it even better. At the very least, give a squeeze and a kiss and say, I think you're amazing.
I think you're amazing, too.
Yeah.
A squeeze and a kiss.
I think you're amazing.
I love the way your skin generates mucus.
All right. Do you want to hear what the men say?
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, okay, this is your first encounter.
Yep.
And what men say they want.
Yes. All right. 7 things men wish women would do the first time they have sex. All right, here we go.
Stop telling you to get off.
No. Number 1, keep the lights on. Says a bit of a mood lighting is great and preferable to a gnarly bright room, but total darkness isn't. It's hard enough for yes if you're enjoying what he's doing by looking into your face and reading your body language. Trying to determine it when he can't see a thing is damn near impossible.
Do you like writing?
No. But I can see that. Yeah. Look, complete darkness, total darkness. No. I do like a
accents of light.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It's just a little bit so that you don't. I'm having a really good time.
Man. Okay, never mind.
Okay, no.
Go ahead.
I need to hear
Take it now.
There was one time, my girlfriend at the time and we were at somebody's house whose parents were out of town, which is just licensed to have at it. So we go up into a bedroom. It's later in the evening, and it's pitch black dark, and I'm doing this. Okay, and our friend, I think it was our friend Cindy, comes in and flips on the brightest lights, and I'm like, I mean, buried in it.
Yo, they
And it was just, when those lights came on, it was like, oh my God!
What happens is that it's like seeing a bar you go to in the broad daylight.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's jarring.
Different story.
You look up, and mouth looks like you're in a watermelon eating contest.
So anyhow, a little bit of light. Guys would like a little bit of light. I'm okay with that. Number 2 says, don't stress out about your own body. I slept with a girl who was so paranoid. She wouldn't let me touch her anywhere. She kept pushing my hands away and saying things like, don't touch my stomach. It's revolting. I gave up after a while. Sex didn't happen at all. Because these are features that she didn't find flattering about herself.
And that's so it's a sad thing to feel that way. And we all have our insecurities. Sure. And once you realize that, but a lot of times again, people come in with standards that they've seen cultivated in movies and Instagram filters and all that stuff, and they think, oh my God, I'm falling short. And the truth is, you're normal, and a lot of what you see is abnormal.
It says insisting on darkness, hiding under the covers, keeping your bra on because you don't like your breasts.
I keep my bra on.
Wearing a T-shirt to bed. We're getting better, but a lot of women are still unnecessarily self-critical about their own bodies.
Yeah.
Number 3, don't overreact if all does not go to plan. This is guys, this is what they want women to do. Not overreact if all does not go to plans. It really helps to remember that you aren't the only one out to impress that very first time. Anxiety is real, and an anxious owner makes for, it says here, a penis that doesn't want to come out and play. It's normal for him to have issues the first time. It doesn't mean that he doesn't fancy you or that your body isn't good enough. It just means that he's nervous and as nervous as you are.
That is so true.
And
that's what Rubber Johnny taught me.
It says, ditto if he finishes too soon or takes too long. All right. Number 4. It says, be active.
Be active.
It says, sex is tiring. It's unfair to leave him to make all the effort. It's also patronizing, insinuating that simply allowing him to have sex with you should be enough of a turn on.
When it's done right, it should be awkward and something you eventually tell your therapist.
Right. No. It says, don't be a dead starfish. Get active. Get on top
Be a
and
blowfish.
ride. Grab what you want and don't be shy. Put his hands where you want them. Give direction and feedback. Tell him what to do and what you like. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I think, personally.
I don't want to put my hands in your butt.
Yes. And then here's the one that we agree on.
Okay.
Men and women.
All right.
Give great oral.
There we go.
That's what it
Both
says.
parties. How about and there you go.
And we have that.
There's a scene at the end of the movie. It's an outtake. She's awesome. What's her name again?
Lynn Shay.
Lynn Shay,
Yeah.
and she's awesome. We've had her in the studio, and she's in the Insidious movies, and she's great. But she's it's her sitting in the back of the vehicle that they're driving in. He just sort of has this image of her always haunting him. And Preston, she's doing that for about 6 minutes while they're getting this footage to incorporate into the scene. And she's going,
oh my God. Oh my God.
It's hilarious.
All right, number 6 on this list. Guys want women to do the first time that they are naked in bed. Let us know that you're enjoying it. It
This
says,
is so great. It really is. I didn't want to have wine and watch White Lotus.
It says, moaning loudly and pretending you like everything he does is embarrassing for both of you, but you do need to give feedback, and lots of women don't do that.
That's right. That's right?
Yes.
You're letting the woman know you enjoy it.
No. This is, hold on. This is men wanting women to do this. This is from the men's perspective, okay? It says, a genuine moan or groan of pleasure, a whispered, that feels great.
That's great.
This is what's so terrible.
A whispered, I'll say that again, a whispered, that feels great.
Excuse me. Sorry, I had cauliflower.
Sorry.
I'm sorry I had Brussels sprouts.
Salad balls.
Salad balls. They're little fart bombs. Is that back or front?
That's what Jackie Bam Bam calls Brussels sprouts. Salad balls. But it says, a whispered, that feels great.
I don't like that at all.
We all... Stop doing that.
Should I call you an Uber?
It says, we all thrive on positive feedback, and never is that more needed than the first time when you sleep with someone. And never is that more, the very first time you sleep with someone.
Have you ever had sex with a human?
All right, and then one last tip from guys to women.
Yeah.
It says, park the post-sex anxiety. It says, women often feel anxious and vulnerable after they sleep with someone for the first time. If it was sex for sex sake, the old was that slutty vibe can kick in. And if you really like them, you know if you or your body lived up to expectations and that it's more than just sex for him. It's fine to ask for reassurance. Far preferable then assuming the worst and getting all prickly and defensive. Another postcoital glow destroyer, snuggling in and fast-forwarding the relationship before it's even started.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yep.
All right, it's time for your exit interview.
The more relaxed you are about the whole thing, the more smitten he'll be, according to
I
this.
think that makes sense. Yeah.
Kathy, have you completely checked out of this conversation?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, all right. Be affectionate and shoot a few meaningful looks so that he knows that it meant something.
It meant nothing.
But resist hanging onto his legs as he makes for the front door.
Yeah, I think that would, in anything, it's probably bad to hang on someone's legs.
Don't get too clingy. So those are the two perspectives of things that it's according to this article that people wish they would do the first time that their partner.
If
has
you were to
sex.
distill it down to one word, what would you say? Of
One
all
word?
Yeah. Relax.
Yeah, or communicate.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it too.
Blumpkin?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But I think communicating is key, and it can be uncomfortable at first, but once you openly talk about things, I think that's it opens up a whole new world.
It doesn't have to be spoken. You can do semaphore, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Get at the edge of the bed with your flags.
Yeah.
Hey,
sign language.
Preston and your wife have probably done it thousands of times.
Maybe.
Do you happen to have in your
Video?
mind? And no. Well, I'm trying to finesse that, Steve, so you can't just jump right into that. Do you happen to have a maybe a favorite one that you think might have been the best one you guys ever had?
In that journal? When you were watching them do it, which was your favorite?
I thought it. Well, what I thought when I was watching, I was like, if this is how they always do it, like, I just want to always be here and watch. Like, do
you happen to have one?
I have a couple in my mind.
Yeah, there was one. We took a vacation to St. Thomas. St. Thomas,
John or
St. John.
Mm-hmm.
So we were St. John, and we were with our friends, the Chapmans, and we had these separate condos that were wonderful. And we tried to break like our sex record,
right?
Over the course of like
you
3
told us
days.
this not that long ago. You talked about it.
I did. Okay, so and Rochelle's nickname became Montana because she wanted to do it 49 times.
Metro traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thanks, Kath. By the way, just to give you an example of some of the things we're giving away for the Christmas Miracle on Wednesday, we have some $250 gift cards from Wawa. We thank them for that. We have a Don't Tell Me It's Over weekend in Nashville for two.
Yeah.
To see Disturbed 2 times while you're there, including a Win Your Way In exclusive intimate set on Friday, February 16th at the iconic club Exit Inn. So
that's pretty effing cool.
Fantastic. We'll also be giving away hand and stone massage and facial spa gift cards, dinner for 4 at Nebraska Brazilian Steakhouse, Tito's Handmade Vodka 54-quart tailgate cooler, golf bag, and solo fire pit. We have $500 to Acme Markets. I mean, this is just a little snapshot.
Yeah, no, it's again, we were happy with what we had before, and now it has gone much, much bigger.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to give away that morning, and we're going to do a big chunk of them in the contest that we're going to be playing. But also, we're going to have a few different ways that we randomly get people prizes without having to do anything either, other than just coming and hanging out and having a good time.
And it's not just simply so there'll be one chunk that'll be the Preston and Steve Show trivia, but we're playing some of the games that you've heard over the years that you may have wanted to participate in.
Yeah.
You're going to get a chance to do that.
Yeah, I'm impressed with these prizes. This has really come together last minute, and we thank all of our wonderful sponsors for being a part of the whole thing. So you never know what you might walk away with. It may be, no matter what, you're going to walk away with something. Some people are going to get better prizes than others, but
deal with it.
Everybody should be pretty happy. Yeah, deal with it, bitch. All right, Casey found the clip of me burping.
Okay.
It's super short.
It's really, really short, but you just became possessed real quick, and then the demon left your body.
It's only 1 second long, and apparently, and somebody texted in and asked if it was when I was trying to say Mountain Dew. And it's when I said the word dew, I burped at the same time, apparently.
I want to hear this, yeah.
And Casey said, yeah, that's right. So here it is.
Diet Mountain Dew.
That's not so bad.
It's not so bad.
Diet Mountain Dew.
I said Dew. Mountain Dew.
Could you guys burp talk pretty well back in the day?
I used to be able to.
Yeah.
I don't think I've retained
I
a
could
lot.
do just very short words, but I knew people who could
Well,
say sentences.
Zach can do that. Our imaging genius.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot he could do that.
I learned during Mass one time, I just spent the entire hour of Mass learning how to swallow my burps so that you could burp even longer.
Right.
Yeah, if you continue, like, swallow a whole bunch and then
Yeah.
you can get, like, a good amount out.
There are people that can take air into their stomach and then
As they're
force it
as they're
back
rolling,
out.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, to be honest, anybody who can do anything like that we had the queefing out the candle. We remember we had the.
Yes.
Yeah,
We did in the production studio.
production studio. People can retain air in all sorts of different ways.
Yes. Yes.
Said that. Yeah.
Diet Mountain Dew.
All right. The demon came out, and he was a fan of Diet Mountain Dew. All right, we're going to do this.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, brought to you this morning by Mini Melts Ice Cream, the coolest on-the-go treat. You can head to Wawa, grab a single-serve cup from the signature Mini Melts standalone freezer, and make it a Mini Melts moment. Mini Melts ice cream, but cooler. An Ohio resident is getting ready to celebrate a milestone birthday, 105.
Wow.
And apparently she did it this weekend, and she was going to do it with a little bit of her favorites. I didn't see a follow-up on this, but Florence Hackman says she loves the Cincinnati Bengals, firefighters, and whiskey. And so on Saturday, she was celebrating her birthday with the Deerfield Township Fire Department and some Fireball cinnamon whiskey as she was going to watch the Bengals game.
Good for her, man.
She worked for the Union Central.
I had sex with the entire defensive line.
What? Way to go.
Yeah. Read me out.
Nick, do you know if the Bengals won or not?
I don't.
All right, see if they did, because maybe she
I
lived.
tired those boys out.
They did?
Yeah, they
won?
kicked a field goal. Evan McPherson.
All right, then she's probably still with us. She worked for the Union Central Life Insurance Company before focusing on raising her family. But Hagman currently resides at the Senior Living Traditions of Deerfield, where the team will be helping her celebrate her big day. But she just wanted to drink Fireball, hang out with firemen, and watch the Bengals play.
Real quick, did you see that Fireball was offering up a Magnum of their...
No. Magnum of Fireball?
Yeah, Steve, it's a gimmick for the holidays or whatever, but you can go out and you can buy it. And the video that they were using to promote it, they did the thing with the guy with the sword, lancing off the end of it, except that it's a screw cap. So there's no
That's
reason
pretty
for a
cool.
sword whatsoever.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, the 43-year-old husband of a missing Mount Dora, Florida woman was taken into custody Thursday as part of a child pornography investigation. So hear how this played out. So Brett Baldwin, the husband of Nicole Baldwin, was being investigated as part of a missing person investigation. She was last seen November 2nd. Detectives seized Brett Baldwin's phone due to the investigation for evidence relating to the missing person. So, which is standard. They just want to check through the phone, see if there's anything interesting in there.
Sure.
Police said Nicole Brown hasn't been in contact with her children or friends, which is out of character for her. However, while reviewing files on the phone, investigators found dozens of images and videos depicting child pornography.
Just depraved.
I don't know if this guy has anything to do with his wife missing or not, but either way,
it doesn't build a strong case.
He is in trouble. Was arrested Thursday and faces federal charge of possessing child pornography. Wow. A man caused a stir at a hospital after medical staff discovered a World War I bomb in his anus.
What?
A World War I bomb in his anus.
Yeah, this was, I think this was in Wales or somewhere in England. The man who was 88 attended an accident and emergency center. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was in France, in Toulon, France, where doctors realized that he had
I'm trying to hold in a fart.
He had a shell.
Please, dear Lord, don't let me fart.
He had a shell.
Ow.
No, but he had
Merd.
So he had a shell lodged in his rectum, and dude,
nearly killed him.
The thing is huge.
So how huge are we talking?
Like this.
I mean, wow.
Like maybe a foot long. It was crazy. I saw a picture of it. I
call it the Kaiser.
The hospital's neighboring departments, including the children's ward, were temporarily evacuated after the discovery was made.
Children, you have to move along. And a man has found a bomb in his ass.
One employee said the discovery was a first for workers at the medical center. In fact, one of the employees said an apple, a mango, or even a can of shaving cream. We're used to finding unusual objects inserted where they shouldn't be, but a shell, never.
Was it active ordnance?
Yeah.
So you would probably, in addition to the proctologist, have a bomb disposal unit.
Well, hospital administrator Jan Lebras said we had to manage the risk in a reactive framework. When in doubt, we took all
Blow
the precautions. Jesus.
What we say as far as missiles or anything in anybody's butthole, when in doubt, blow it on out.
Another hospital source said the gynecological and maternity wards were able to carry on business as usual during the unusual bomb threat. However, the rest of the hospital were shut down.
This is nothing. We recently found a pencil tank in a woman's vagina.
While the emergency was taken care of. Steve, it didn't say in this particular story. I assume that it was a live ordinance, but
that's what I was wondering.
It may not have been. It may have been a dummy. I'm not really sure, but this guy had it in his ass. The mother of a man killed in an industrial shredder, this is the one that's out of Wales, said that she cannot forgive the yard's manager, Brian Timmons, who was also operating the equipment, was convicted of manslaughter after David Wills fell into the machine. This is an industrial shredder at Timmons Waste Services.
Sorry about grinding up your husband.
Caroline Willis said that her life has been ruined, her family wrecked, her son's remains were never found. Timmons was
her son.
Jailed for 7.5 years on Friday. When Mr. Willis fell into the shredder, he had worked at the site for about 8 years, his mother told the BBC. She said that she had a mother's instinct that something was really wrong when she had not heard from him for the hours of the from him by the hours of the early morning. She decided to drive around looking for him. When the machine apparently had stopped abruptly, Timmons used a digger to lift Mr. Willis onto it near to clear the blockage. The shredder, the jury was told, should have been switched off while the task was carried out, but instead it was still ejecting waste.
Oh, come on.
When it seemed that Mr. Willis was no longer at the scene, prosecutors said Timmons searched the yard and looked inside the shredder. He also carried on operating the machine. The next day, Timmons and other employees loaded and disposed of 80 tons of recycled waste by taking it to a landfill site. That material likely contained his remains, they said. Mr. Willis said the lack of remains was the most hurtful aspect. Footage had shown Mr. Willis going into the machine and failing to reemerge. So, wow, that's messed up.
You'd think that would be sort of a given that you'd shut the
I would think so.
shredder off.
You would think so, yeah. And there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre
What you
file.
talking about, Willis?
All right, let's take a quick break. Come back in a second. Lesson question, music news are both on the way, and we'll give some stuff to you. If you've been paying close attention, you have a chance to win. We'll be back in a moment. Stay put.
And how long?
That would hurt.
Like 3 days. It was a joke.
Oh, okay.
So her nickname became Tana because we tried to have
That's
the 49ers.
cool.
So I thought that was fun. But that I just remembered that we enjoyed it so much, and it was a lot of fun that stands out.
That's cool.
It's like that's in Step Brothers, where you talk about a summer of humping. I had to ice my balls.
What about you? Name one of yours.
My favorite was on our wedding night when we made love for the first time.
Shut up.
Yeah, that was.
I was like, I'm thinking, really? Wow. That was nice.
At the beginning,
His mom might be
of the
listening.
relationship, when you're basically an Olympic gymnast, and and it's like, and those are those are wonderful times, and then before you know it, you're in a studio with the stuff falling off the wall.
Right, exactly. Anybody else want to add their favorite? Do you have favorites that stand out?
I am not answering that.
God.
I don't want to. You're making me feel
There was
uncomfortable.
one time when he brought a macaque into the room. That was interesting.
Hey, John. Preston's making me feel uncomfortable.
Facilities.
Yes.
HR facilities coming together.
All right. I thought this would just be a fun little combo to have. And if we weren't careful, we learned something.
Didn't even Attention, Benadryl.
In case we got to get you on one of those water jet packs.
Oh my God, I would love that.
We've got to get you on that. So I know they do.
Where's
have
the closest one?
They've got them down there somewhere.
AC they do.
We talked about it last year or the year before, and people said that they are available in certain spots. Very, very expensive to rent. But
Are they?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's the case or
Maybe
not.
we get a knockoff one.
A knockoff jetpack. But I personally would love to go on one of those things, but I'm dying to see you on one.
You see the dudes who are able to flip down and go underwater and dive it down and come back up?
Since they've had those out now for several years, there's people that have mastered them, and they can do all kinds of spinny, wild, crazy things in the air and then dive down in and back up.
I'm afraid that I would jetpack myself right down into the water and not be able to right myself, and then just
go down to the bottom and stay there.
Yes, just continue to thrust myself.
We're watching video footage. They now have them where you can strap them on your feet.
Yeah.
That's
it's basically just a board.
That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. I wouldn't do that one. I wouldn't do that one.
Hold on.
Casey, who would be more?
Just screaming down to the ocean floor.
Daddy. Any kids? Anybody see Daddy?
William Shatner and his ex-wife Elizabeth are dividing up everything in their estate, from dogs to land to ashes of exes to horse semen.
Wow.
TMZ reports.
Okay. Because he
loves it.
He's a breeder.
Yeah.
He loves
He puts it in his cereal.
Love horse semen.
I tell you, I love my cereal. It's so thick and creamy. There's just something about waking up to horse jizz.
Oh my God.
Elizabeth.
Spock, what's this in your coffee cup?
Elizabeth gets 2 horses. William gets all the dogs, 2 horses, and all of the horse semen. He gets
who gets the jig chill?
He gets all of the horse semen and equipment, the horse semen equipment.
He gets all the dogs?
He gets all the dogs, yeah.
That seems unfair.
Semen.
It's horse semen in my big, piping hot mug of coffee.
And these are per the papers obtained by TMZ. Elizabeth gets...
Yes, I'd like a bear claw and a coffee with horse semen. You don't have horse semen? You don't know how delicious it is in a cup of coffee?
So Elizabeth, gets a Malibu and a Versailles, Kentucky home. By the way, in Kentucky, it's pronounced Versailles, not Versailles. Plus her family farm in Indiana, while he gets a ranch and their Studio City home.
But I got the semen, correct?
He gets all the semen. Their agreement also spelled out animal visitation rights because they don't have children. So
Preston, you know what I love to do? I love to drink horse semen through a crazy straw.
Crazy straw.
Through a crazy straw. Looks wild.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow. Bill Cosby changed up his legal team again.
Why?
Pennsylvania-based.
That one didn't work.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He's already in jail.
I'm in jail, Lloyd. I'm incarcerated.
Bill Cosby as Mr. Corn.
For Dizzle anything.
Oh
my
for Dizzle
God.
anything. Instead of saying anything. For Dizzle anything.
I'm incarcerated, Lloyd.
He's holding up the boombox and the Cosby show's like.
Oh my God.
There is a puffy black man on the front lawn with a boombox.
Oh, dear Lord. All right, so yes, he's incarcerated. And the Pennsylvania-based attorney Joseph Green Jr., who represented Mr. Cosby during sentencing, filed court papers Friday to have himself withdrawn from the case.
So perfect.
Please welcome to our studio Mr. Barnes Courtney.
Yeah.
Morning, Barnes.
Morning, how you doing?
We're doing good, man. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. This place is fancy.
Thank you, sir.
We try.
Yeah.
Not by your own doing. They just gave it to us.
You have so many lights. Are you guys hot in here?
We wanted to make you feel, you love being on stage. I was reading you love touring. It never gets old to you.
No. I also love that you have an enormous 10 by 10 picture of me on the wall. Just as I request, I'm not doing the interview unless there's an enormous photograph of my face. Is everyone looking at it?
Barnes, I'm excited to become more familiar with your music. As I said at the top, I am not, but 3 things that I know you can do. You can sing, you can play, and you can write. And I'm very impressed with your vocal capability. So I was reading up a little bit on you. And I had read, I think it was where, as a younger musician, you wanted to really try to have a high range when you sang, but you felt that you were kind of forcing it, and then you settled into what was more natural to you.
I like you a lot.
It's that tragic tale that really led to my music.
Oh my God! What an inspiring story. There's a movie from Disney in this.
Yes. Originally, you're from London.
I'm from just outside Aylesbury, but I grew up in Seattle, so I missed out on the sexy accent.
Oh,
I can put it on though if I need to.
But you have an appreciation of coffee.
I do. I do like coffee. I like being awake and cognizant of the world.
We're going to London next week. We're doing our show from there. Most of it's a first time in London. And do you ever go back? I mean, do you still have family there?
No, I'm not allowed back in London.
You're not allowed back anymore.
Not since the accident, no.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But I don't want to talk about it here,
I understand.
You burned down the Courtney estate.
We don't want to pry.
Yeah, they are not fans of me in the Courtney Manor anymore.
Courtney Manor.
Courtney Manor. And on the 4th day, on the 5th moon, young Barnabas did burn down the Courtney Manor. And the stuffed giraffes were ruined. All the children cried in their nightgowns.
Wow.
I love it.
And then he fled to Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even know where to go.
I don't need, to be honest, I've really digressed away from...
It's all good. I appreciate it. Some people don't say anything. I love this stream of consciousness that we're getting from you.
We'll take this, absolutely.
By the way, you have an accompaniment here. This is Agam is your keyboard player?
This is Agam. I don't actually know him, but he seemed pretty nice. He's got his own Casio.
Right. What are you guys going to play for us?
I'm going to play 99, which is my new single, Shameless Plug. And we used to sleep all day, talk all night, stay up by the TV light. Oh, when your baby teeth ain't milky white, wipe the stardust from your eyes. Oh, come on, love will be just fine. We're gonna live just like it's 1999. In 1990. In 1999. In 1990. In 1999. Back then we were trading cars behind the swings. Oh no, now it's money, gold and diamond rings. Now those days are over, we're all ghosts. We used to sleep all day, talk all night, stay up by the TV light. Oh, when your baby teeth ain't milky white, wipe the stardust from your eyes. Oh, come on, love will be just fine. We're gonna live just like it's 1999. In 1990. In 1999. In 1990.
But we are... The temperatures are going to be dropping. It start off very, very mild. So anytime you get these temperature changes that happen, a lot of times wind and precipitation come along with that. Today's high was 61, but we're working our way down already.
Yeah, when I got to the car, this morning, I'm like, wow.
That's nice.
Because as winter shorts guy, I appreciate days like that.
Yeah. I actually sat out, what was it, Friday night I think it was Friday night. We just kind of hung out outside. It was really nice.
If it's still and you're not dealing with the wind, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we got windy conditions today. Rain's going to stop, and we're going to lead to cooler temperatures. Tomorrow's high is only 40, partly cloudy, and then 46 on Wednesday, sunny, and so on. All right. Yes.
I think the word is that we might have a slightly warm Christmas.
Really?
Yes.
I thought, Kathy, you were telling me that Adam Joseph was telling us we're going to get hit.
Yeah, he said that we're probably going to have a snowy winter.
Really? Well, that
Yeah.
stands into direct contradiction
But
with
a
that
warm-
very same news source. A warm snow.
But a warm winter?
It'll be a warm, Christmas.
Oh, Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm all right with that. I don't hate warm
It
Christmases.
says mostly sunny, 51 degrees.
On Christmas? That sounds pretty comfortable. Yeah.
And the Eagles are home on Monday afternoon, right?
Yes.
A week from today? Yeah.
Evening, afternoon?
Yeah,
it's
I think
4
it's
o'clock game.
4:30 or something like that.
On Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day, yeah.
The warm Christmas.
Okay. All right, so lesson question. We're going to give away a $50 gift card, and this is from Manhattan Bagel. We were just having a discussion about everything bagels a moment ago. Nick had spent that all card from your favorite brand. Holidays, happy holidays, I should say, from Wawa. What's going on this morning, Steve?
Well, Justin Bieber was spotted snowboarding by himself in Aspen on Saturday. Bieber says snowboarding allows him the chance to clear his mind, which can often be achieved in under 5 seconds.
Oh, my God.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar took a nasty spill at a concert in Los Angeles over the weekend and broke his hip. The NBA legend was immediately taken to the hospital in 2 ambulances.
Oh, my God.
And finally, former Family Matters star Darius McRae was arrested again last month for failure to pay child support. McRae is taking a stand, though, saying the last thing he wants is for his kids to get spoiled by things like food and shelter. Charlie, what's that?
All righty, we will go to the phones and see if someone knows the answer to this one. Steve was just a kid who had just died at 215-263 WMMR. It's Tom we're going to chat with. Hey, Tom, good morning.
Hey, good morning again.
Good morning to see you, Tom. When Steve was a kid, who had just died?
That's the big man, JC, Jesus Christ.
Hang on, Tom. You got it right, and we are going to give you a $50 gift card for Manhattan Bagel. You can celebrate the holidays with the gift of giving Snag a $25 Manhattan Bagel gift card and get a bonus $5 for you, the gift that always is in good taste at manhattanbagel.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Brought to you by Valley Forge, Montgomery County, PA. Plan your holiday shopping trip to one of Monco's shopping destinations. Reporting the incident earlier.
You were in that helicopter.
That's her making an accusation at him. So he's a lemon-headed coward.
You were in that helicopter, and you were nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist, and I'm after you, buddy.
The plaintiff also believes the pilot, David Martz, and Lee used the helicopter to lure other unsuspecting victims.
Well, that is not good.
Yeah, she is seeking unspecified monetary damages for medical expenses and loss of earnings. Colin Burgess, he was the original drummer of AC/DC, has died at the age of 77. You may not be familiar with him. The band had posted on social media, very sad to hear the passing of Colin Burgess. He was our first drummer and a very respected musician. Happy memories, rock and peace, Colin. So he had joined in AC/DC in 1973, played his first show with the band that New Year's Eve at Checkers nightclub in Sydney, Australia. At the time, the band included Angus and Malcolm Young on guitars. Dave Evans was the singer, and Larry Van Crite was on bass. Burgess played on the original version of AC/DC's first single, Can I Sit Next to You, Girl, which featured George Young, brother of Angus and Malcolm, on bass. They fired him in 1974, so he wasn't with the band very long.
He was blowing into the drums.
No, they claimed he was drunk on stage. Burgess said that someone had spiked his drink. In 1988, Colin was inducted into the Australian Recording Industry Hall of Fame as a member of the Master Apprentices. Scorpions will return to the Las Vegas Strip next year and say they'll play a 40-year-old song of theirs they've never sang live. The song is Crossfire from Love, or Crossfire, which is on Love at First Sting.
You know that song?
I do not. No, I don't know the celebration of the 40th anniversary of their iconic album, Love at First Sting. They'll play the full album plus other hits. The shows kick off April 11th, and that'll be at Planet Hollywood and Resort in Casino. And the last item, we should have some audio for this, Casey. U2 had performed Baby Please Come Home.
Yep, it's on its way over in a second.
Is this at the Sphere?
At the Sphere.
I had 3 friends go to the show just coincidentally this weekend. Well, one of the friends is Bert Kreischer, but the 2 friends from college and Bert were all there simultaneously this weekend, and everyone to a T said the most amazing experience they've ever had.
No kidding.
Just could not stop raving about how awesome it was.
Okay.
I know. I really want to go.
Yeah.
The performance and the whole...
Just all of it. Like
experience.
And it's... I think you get distracted by the fact that everybody has their cell phones out and they're taking video of it. However, I probably would do the same because you just... If you've never experienced anything like that, you kind of want to capture it.
We remember how blown away we were that initial weekend when they debuted the show, and they was it where the streets have no name, and they had this whole vista that opens up around the entire Sphere.
Do you remember the week of, we were talking about what we thought it might be like?
Yes.
Because we had no idea. Nobody had seen the inside of it.
We thought the TLC.
No,
TLA.
The TLA. No, we had thought that I didn't think it was going to be all straight video. I thought there were going to be lights and other things that were a part of that
Same
rotunda.
thing.
And we had no idea that it's all video.
Fish just, they're doing 4 shows there in April, and the tickets went on sale on Friday.
How quickly?
Dude, I didn't even try.
Yeah.
I did.
Aw.
It's a shorter version.
That's nice.
It's my tribute to the Bill Weston phone prank.
Oh,
and he went, hey, ho, hey, ho. It's one of the great seminal moments.
Santa's got to go.
And he said, Santa's got to go, and in a way, we all have to go.
Yeah, but in a way.
But for now, we have this moment.
Yeah.
Hey, ho, hey, ho, hey.
Just cracks you up, doesn't it? Yeah.
Every time.
Hey.
Hey! Look over there!
I can't wait to listen to it again. I absolutely love it. All right. And there you go. That is what we have in music news for you. All right, let's take one last break. Come back, and we'll wrap the whole thing up. We'll get the letter of the day for the Word of the Week prize. And do you want me to give these away?
Yeah, because we actually have a whole bunch still left.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought we just had a handful left. All right, so this is for Casey's screening tomorrow night of Rebel Moon. We are going to talk to the director, our good friend Zack Snyder.
Yes.
This movie doesn't open until the 22nd, but there's a screening at the AMC Fashion District tomorrow with Casey. We'll take callers 5 and 6 at 215-263 WMMR. The movie's been decades in the making, and Zach is excited about this. So let's get you to the screening tomorrow night. 215-263 WMMR. We'll be right back. I got a text that says, thank you. Now I have to go home and change my panties.
Wow. That was me.
A day after the season 13 finale of America's Got Talent, finalist Michael Ketterer was arrested for domestic violence.
Whoa. Well, it shows the system works because he only came in 5th place.
What did he do? Was he a singer or what?
He packed luggage.
No, I don't know. Michael Ketterer is his name, and I don't know what he did. We're looking at a picture of him with his arms open at a microphone, so that leads to believe that he
John McCain impression.
Singer and impersonated John McCain. So those are the two things you can clearly get from this photograph here.
He's going to be playing a Vegas casino.
Yeah.
He just does John McCain and that's it?
Yeah.
What would it be like if John McCain sang the songbook of Air Supply?
A loving tribute to
one of our nation's heroes and the kings of soft rock.
I don't even have any Air Supply.
One of our nation's heroes. You're probably doing
so
here.
lost without you.
I'm sorry. That was that.
You were right for leaving me so long.
That's
very specific talent.
It was the greatest John McCain Air Supply show I've ever seen.
And I'm bringing back my whole family. It's patriotic and it's romantic.
All right. So anyhow, I guess he was a singer and a John McCain. So Let me go to here and more broken ribs. I have. It says Walper. Is your name Walper?
Walter.
Walper.
Honestly, wouldn't you at least say
Walper?
Is this Judge Wapner calling in?
You got a nickname now.
Great nickname today.
Walper.
Well, hang in there, brother, okay?
From Touchstone Pictures, the inspiring story of a man named Walper. I've seen him. He's got some medical issues, but the worst thing is his name is Walper. And then a young therapist came into his life. Hi, I'm Kathy Romano. We're going to change that P to a T.
Simple as that.
And then his life turned around.
I'm the head of a Fortune 500 company. And I can do the saber dance.
That morning show's not making fun of me anymore.
Name and introduction. Darling, my heart filled the room. I knew it was you. Come back in my life.
Shows tonight at 7:30. Tickets
we
are
got mellow in here.
on sale now. World Cafe Live. That's
Real
Tommy
mellow.
Davidson, guys.
Wow. Because even the beds you guys got here are funky. The musical bed for that company just never. Then I come in, it's like.
No, we love that.
Yeah.
That's really nice, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
You wanted to be a singer initially, right? That was that preceded any thoughts of comedy.
That's the start. With a spoon. And with tinfoil on it, stand on the table.
Yeah. Love a hippie band, right? Like they're like Grateful Dead and stuff like that. I'm so not enamored by because so sometimes I would come out of these concerts, right?
Okay.
And there would be these people who would hand you these flyers to come and live on these communes, and it seemed a little appealing to me. It really did.
You're the guy.
Yeah. I don't think I would push my 5-year-old there though. I saw a lot of stuff at the communes. I was like, okay, I ain't put together till way later.
Right.
Yeah, boy.
Right. But I was a young adult at the time. I was like 22, 23 years old, and trying to find my way, kind of lost in this world. And, like a lot of young 20-year-olds are.
Well, you weren't. Hey, you had to go. That's where your family was. I was telling you, Tommy, off air that I just started jumping into your book, Living in Color. What's funny about me? And I was telling these guys last night, like, this is an amazing freaking life. And you made mention of the fact when you found out you were black, and explain how you came into this world when you were born. It's a brutal story that has now turned into something great. But
yeah. I was actually abandoned in the trash in the year 1966. I was found.
Yeah.
So I was 2.
Yeah.
Maybe under 2.
Yeah.
Coma. Starved. Contusions in the head the whole night. But my mother, who found me randomly in the trash.
It's just
amazing. So she was a white woman from Wyoming, and her husband were down there in Mississippi.
Which is like one of the poorest
in the country, So they're teachers at Colorado State, and they heard Kennedy say, "If you look back on this time in history, would you be able to be a white American that did something about the race problem?"
Right.
So they wanted to do that. So they went down there and as kids and did that kind of stuff, and did voting drives, and they met my.
Gotta do. We have had a lot of fun for a Monday. We had some cool guests on the program today, despite the ugly weather that everybody's been dealing with. But very enjoyable to start the work week this way. So I would like to thank our guest, Curtis Armstrong.
Yay! Booger Monday.
And Charles DeMar and Miles from Risky Business. He's got a book. It's been out for a while, so much so that it's not in print anymore. You can only get the audio version, but I just read it, and it's fantastic. It's called The Revenge of the Nerd, and Moonlighting is out now. It's on Max, you said?
It's on Max, yeah.
Okay.
They put the entire run.
Nice, but super nice guy and has had one hell of an acting career, so it was cool to have him on. And then Nimesh Patel.
Yes!
Was on, and he's performing at the Met a week from Thursday. That'll be the 28th, and you can get tickets at themetphilly.com. And he was a nice guy, and he says he's got a ton of family in this
Yes,
area, too.
at least 16, and if you're going to have any sort of medical incident, have it at his show.
Yeah.
Because they're all doctors.
They're all doctors, he said. So it was nice having him on the program as well. We have a new Word of the Week prize. We got to do the letter of the day. So, Case, are you doing that, I guess?
Zappa cool, man.
All right, here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
And the Preston and Steve Show.
I thought I was going to be able to do it.
Zappa cool, man.
And the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter.
What's happening?
P.
P.
That's a great letter.
As in party.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so
You would have thought he wasn't going to be here for the letter, Casey.
What?
No, I said I don't know why he thought you weren't going to be here for the letter. You're usually here.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Well, he was tending to the sheep, and so I know that takes a lot of time. So
They had to be fleeced, too, so that takes a while.
Yep.
On the program today, another block of Christmas music. We'll celebrate Paul Rogers' birthday with a block of Bad Company and some of his new material from his solo album, and a couple of the clips of the interview I did with him earlier this year, and St. Keith. It is Keith Richards' birthday, and thus some great Keith songs in a workforce block honoring the great, great, great modern medical miracle that is Keith Richards.
big one is he's 80 today.
Yes, he is.
Wow, man.
Can you select your favorite Keith Richards song that he's written?
Before They Make Me Run comes to mind. But I mean, he's co-written,
Yeah.
all of them.
Right.
I mean, I have the story of him telling me about Satisfaction, where he had just gotten a cassette player, and he would, in those days, go to bed with his guitar. And he had a cassette player. He went to bed with his guitar, and he looked when he woke up, and it had run all the way through, and he goes, I wonder what that is. And he winds it back, and it goes,
Wow.
And he goes, well, they have it.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of Satisfaction. Had he not had that cassette recorder, we might not have that song.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Song stories never cease to amaze me.
Absolutely. All right, well, stick around for what Pierre has in store for you, and I would like to thank our sponsors, Preston Steve Show, brought to you today by Duncan. Preston Steve Show runs on...